Okay, I'm just gonna check if everyone can see me. Sorry, can see my screen. Everything okay, right? It's my first time doing this, so I have no idea what I'm doing. So I would appreciate the help for sure. I think there's some delay also from my end. Hi, everyone. Hi. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, great, great, great. Welcome, everyone. I can see many people from Twitter here. Okay, great, great. Good, you can see my screen is fine. It's so hard to do this, actually. I thought it was easier than this. It turns out to be extremely hard. Hopefully, I'll make it better next time. Let's wait for some people to join, and then we can start. My charts are ready. Sorry about my charts, they're very messy, but you will get used to them for sure. Okay, it's crazy today. I bought some earlier out of FOMO. Where do you think we go from here? I will try to answer as many questions as I can. I promise. But the market's looking good. Like I told you guys, like 2 hours ago, like there was a small pump coming. So now we're at 38K almost. Where this pump might take us, honestly, I need to check the charts. Like I still haven't analyzed anything. I'm waiting for you guys to come here so I can do it live for you. Maybe teach you some things. Also, excuse the barking. If you hear some barking, I have like 4 puppies in my room, so I'm sorry about that. Thank you, and I appreciate everyone's support for sure. I'm only doing this to help you guys. Let me just check Twitter. Is this the Miami pump? I don't know. Okay, so let's start talking a little bit. Uh, First of all, for everyone who is new here, I don't know if you've been following me for a while, but yeah, I've been doing this for a long time, and uh, honestly, I just got tired of. I'm basically a guy like you. I used to follow many YouTubers, used to watch a lot of TA, used to FOMO a lot. All mistakes you've done, I've done them already. I still do mistakes up till today, of course. But I got fed up honestly with the whole YouTube idea of hopium and bullishness, and I saw some of my friends FOMOing in at like 65K or at 60K when Bitcoin was 60K. When I was telling them like, no, don't do it. It's wrong. It's not now. Now you should sell. And then I kept seeing more and more YouTubers doing the same over and over, and then I just got fed up honestly. Like I just wanna teach people how to read the charts so at least they can have a small idea of what I have. At least so they can know where when to go in, when to go out. Basics. The basic TA will help you understand the market more than you can know. Hi from Barcelona. Okay, you can speak Spanish. I also can speak Spanish. Can't wait until I have a thumbnail with open mouth emergency video. I hope I get there. Honestly, I'm just trying to do this for the few people on Twitter who need learning experience and just understanding. Like I see a lot of people really wanting to learn. Uh, Premium trading view. Actually, yeah, at least by the pro. Like I used to have the premium before, uh, but now I'm doing pro because I have. I don't think I need that much of indicators to use anyway. Hello from Canada. Oh, hi. I used to go to Toronto. I went to Woodbridge once back in the day. Hi from Perth, from Nepal. Welcome everyone. These are the best indicators. I will try to teach you as much as I can. New York, welcome, welcome. Thank you for spending the time. Thank you for supporting me. Actually, I didn't know I would get this many followers so fast. Like my Twitter account blew from 3 followers to like 2,000 followers in like 10 days. I have nothing against the sniper school. The guy is great, honestly. He's a nice guy. He's a good personality, but he's just not a TA. That's all my problem with him. That's it. Yeah, I will teach you about the ADX and the squeeze indicator for sure. Actually, the ADX and the squeeze indicator, I learned it from my mentor, and many TAs use it, but the more you use, some TAs use it on different time frames, and they depend on different time frames. I've actually learned to use all of the time frames together, and then I can come to a summary. So that's why you see me guys always predicting very carefully and very accurately, because I use these different indicators to come up with a picture of what's going to happen. Hopefully, in this stream, I will give you a small insight of on where to start and what to do. I'm not going to jump into the hard stuff right away, just the basics and just some analysis on BTC, and then see how it goes from there. Hi from Malaysia. This happened. Oh, thank you, man. How long it needs to master TA? Honestly, it's based on individuals. I you can master it in a month if you're very good. You can master it in 3 months if you're very. It's all up to an individual. Now, luckily, I have a background in mathematics, so TA kind of comes natural for me. So if you're good in geometry and you were good in geometry or something related to math when you were young, then TA will come easy for you definitely. Yeah, I do use the Ishimoku clock. Yeah, I do. My country now. I'm currently staying in Thailand, but I'm actually half Venezuelan and half Lebanese, Middle Eastern. So half Latino, half Middle Eastern. Yeah, I definitely would suggest you get TradingView Pro. It makes your life easier. The more you buy, the more indicators you get, the easier your life gets. But too many indicators is not well also. Okay, I think we have enough people in the chat so we can start. Like 88 and 92 views are fine for me. More than enough for now. Oh no, I'm not Thai. I'm not Thai. I just have a Thai girlfriend and I'm living here in Thailand. Okay, let's start with the chat. Let's start with the charts. Like I need to analyze also the BTC charts. If you guys are ready, we can start, and then I'll jump back to the chat and see what's happening. Sam, yeah, TA is psychology for sure, but it's like psychology on a chart. It's like painted. Basically, you're painting people's psychology on a chart, and then the more you study this chart, and the more you see patterns in the charts, then the more you understand the people's psychology, what they're trying to do. People really don't understand TA that much, but TA is just a visual representation of people's emotions and trading patterns just on a big screen. And then you use the indicators and use the charts and use what you have to try to predict what's going to happen. Yeah, if you're good in math and you have like a thing for geometry, you will master TA pretty fast. Pretty, I can say, yeah, definitely. Okay, let's start with the analysis for today, and I'm gonna come back to the chat later to see what's up. I just want to make sure that everyone can see my chart. Let's see. Gonna put this here. Is everyone okay with the chart? Can we start? Rango's like I have no idea what I'm doing honestly, bro, about the video streaming. Like I literally just because I know I've been promising a lot of people to stream and I really don't have time to make videos. So I just put this together super fast to try to show you some things and just analyze, and maybe in the future it will get better. Yeah, let's go. Okay, so everyone can see it. Okay, so you can see here my chart. My chart is very complicated. I usually like to keep patterns and indicators on all the time. These are my main two that I use all the time, the ADX and the squeeze. You've heard me talk about them a lot. Um, so this is the 4 hour time frame. Before I start analyzing BTC and everything else, I just want to tell you some things about my indicators, right? What I really use. So I'm gonna take you here to the FX, which is the function, right? And then you can see here I highlighted some, I put some indicators as favorites, and this is what I mainly use. Sometimes I tend to use other things, but I've come to the conclusion that using these indicators is more than enough to read the market. I have the Bollinger Bands. I will explain them later for sure. I have the ADX, the EMA ribbon by Crypt, which is super good. Fixed range. This shows you the volume in a range the volume of trading in a certain range that you need to check out. The Ishimoku Cloud, the MACD, which you saw me talking about earlier, which is also very useful for me. The RSI, Relative Strength Index, also one of the key indicators that I have. I use this a lot to find divergences. Squeeze momentum, which you can see here on the chart, which I use also a lot. Stochastic RSI. Now the stochastic, I usually use it for higher time frames. I don't usually use it for low time frames. I'd rather stick to the normal RSI. Visible range, which is the VPVR. Also, it will tell you the amount of trading volume between a range that you want, and then the volume. So this is the volume of trade that uh, uh, is happening in certain time frames. Now, for me, right, before you start anything, so I want to try to do something for you guys. Let me jump to just a normal chart. I want to show you a plain chart and analyze it from scratch. And then I'll go to my chart and explain everything for you and where I think BTC is going. So this is the BTC, the weekly, daily, super far. Okay, so this is the BTC daily chart, I think. No indicators, nothing here. Okay. So I'm gonna start explaining one by one. The BTC movement, the analyzing for BTC. I think, like I said, I'm gonna stick to my prediction till it says otherwise. I think we are supposed to go up, and we are supposed to break 40K. If we don't break 40K, and my indicators are still flashing like bullish momentum, then a dump is coming for sure. But I will talk about this later in the video. For now, I just want to explain some things, and I'm going to start with the RSI because it's so easy. So this is you can see here, this is the daily chart for BTC since we started our run in January, or yeah, this is January right here. January, February, March, April, May, and then we are June. So for the people who are saying, who've been following me for a while, and they know that I called the 65K top. The only reason that I called it is this divergence on the RSI. So you can see here, how we're making higher highs in the price, and then we're making lower highs in the RSI. This is a typical pattern that you see. A lot of traders use this a lot. It's called a bearish divergence. Basically, your price is moving higher, but the RSI is moving lower. Okay? Now, how can you understand it in an easier way? It's just very basic. The price is going up, but the buying pressure is going down. There's no more momentum. There's no more strength in the market. And this is on the daily time frame. If you go to the weekly, you'll see the same divergence, and if you go to the monthly, you will see the same divergence. And this divergence that you see right here is a super huge divergence. And when I called this out, and I had this thing with the crypto banter group, I actually was trying to help the community because I knew it was coming. It was there, but no one wants to do listen. And then finally, after the crash happened, now everyone wants to listen. Whatever the case is, you can still use this indicator to track what BC is going to do. And you can see here, I'm going to put the arrow so you can see. This is the RSI that we're currently in, right? And then you can see that every time we're hitting this trend line on the top. So every time we hit the trend line on the RSI, we get rejected. Hit the trend line, get rejected. Hit the trend line, get rejected. Every peak we've made, you see, every peak we're hitting this trend line on the RSI and we're getting rejected. So if BTC were to pump to an expected level, right? You need to pay close attention to this RSI on the daily. Why? Because if this RSI for some reason breaks this line upwards like this, it means that most probably we are back in the bull run. And when I say we're back in the bull run, I'm trying to say like we're gonna make higher highs than this current high right here. Okay, so this is my first sign for you guys, the RSI and the divergences. Of course, there's a bearish, there's bullish, there's hidden, there is exaggerated divergences. All of these have different meanings, but I will talk about them in detail as we pass by the stream. But for now, this is super key to tracking BTC. Like I've been looking at this for a while. I don't know if other YouTubers are looking at it or not, but I'm looking at it certainly. And if for some reason we hit this line right here, and or let's say we keep pumping for the next week, I'm gonna watch this line super carefully. If we hit this and I see a rejection starts to happen on BTC on the daily, like I'll be pulling out mostly everything. Like I will not even ladder out. I will just pull out everything. So this is one thing that you need to take into consideration. RSIs are very important. Uh, can I see? Let's see if I can find for you uh bearish, a hidden bearish, or a bullish divergence. Okay, so what you're looking at to find these divergences, right? They're called divergences because they're different from the price action. So you see here we are having a high, right? And now we have, oh, this is a perfect divergence right here. Look, even though divergences on shorter time frames, they don't really mean anything. Like it's not that significant for the long term price, but they can help you short term trading. If you're trying to trade on a short time frame, it will help you short term trade. So look here, you have a higher high and then you have a lower high, but on the RSI you have a lower high and then you have a higher high. This is a divergence, but this one we call a hidden bearish divergence. And when I say hidden, every time you hear this word hidden, it just basically means that it's weak, a weak divergence. And you can see it playing out right here. A few hours of downside and then finally another pump upwards. So this is one uh, amazing and easy to spot hidden divergence, which will help you in your trading for sure. Now, if you can see here, after this divergence plays out on the RSI, we go up to make a new higher high, right? Now, we dumped again, even though there's no divergence, right? Another rule to take is that this RSI right here, the more it gets closer to the oversold area, which is around 70, the more the chances that it's gonna correct, not dump. I will say correct, meaning the price will retrace, as you can see here. It will retrace slightly. I want to see if I can find a lower low, right? Okay, let me see if I can find a bullish divergence somewhere. Okay, this is a hidden bullish divergence right here. Look on the charts. So here on the charts, we make a low and a higher low, but on the RSI, we made a low and a lower low. This is a hidden bullish divergence. Now, what happens after this? Again, hidden means weak, right? So you can see right there, it's just a weak pump. It wasn't a super duper pump. The price just went up for a while, tested resistance, probably EMA ribbon. Let me see. No, not the EMA. Maybe the 4-hour EMA. It tested it and then got rejected downwards. So these are the basics of divergences and of RSIs and how to spot them. You can Google them. It's super easy to find and it's super easy to learn. You just need a quick eye for it. Let me just go to the chat and see. Thanks so much. Okay, the quality is usually on auto. Will adjust based on your connection, but can select 720 plus. Okay, you need to change their setting. Okay, I will take some questions now before going in. So yeah, this is one of the basic things that you will use, the divergences. Using them on different time frames helps you understand where you're going long term. Let's see, stock RSI is better to use. For me personally, I use the stochastic for high time frames, like the weekly or the daily. I don't really use them for the short time frames. They're really not that accurate. Smashed fingers be thank you, Miss Family. Thank you. Sorry. Okay, amazing. You're again very tough. Okay, this is really great. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Okay, great. So yeah, RSI done. Now for my strategy, right? Before I continue with my strat, which is the squeeze indicator, these divergences, for it's so easy for you guys to learn them. You can go to Google, download a screenshot. I put many times a screenshot on my Twitter. Now, since we're doing this live, right? You can see here on the RSI, the price of BTC is just hitting the 70. Either we're gonna break it and we continue upward, or we're gonna reject and go downwards for a small correction. Small correction, I mean like 1,000 or 500. That's small correction, not a dump. Now, if we go to the 4-hour time frame, okay, you can see on the 4-hour, we also broke the 4-hour EMA, but we still haven't closed above it. It needs 10 minutes to close the candle. But this is very bullish. This is very good for BTC. As you can see, the 4-hour EMA has been acting as resistance since we dropped from 58,000. Look, you can see it. Look, went down, up, got rejected, went down, up, got rejected. So it's been doing this for so long now. So it's huge resistance. And these right here, these three tops that we found right here, they were fake outs. This is what we call a fake out. So this candle that we're forming right here can be a fake out as well. It can close above and then it could go down to retest and then close below and then start to close below, as you can see on the chart what happened before. But if you've been following me on Twitter, I've been saying this for a while. Making or placing some 4-hour candles on top of the chart, on top of the 4-hour EMA river in the chart, is super, super bullish for BTC. Now, super bullish, don't get me wrong. For me, I'm still bearish on the long term frame, on the long time frame. For me, if we don't break this area right here, the around the 59 or 58,000 level, I'm not seeing Bitcoin going up anymore. I see it dropping because basically we've been making lower lows since forever. And you can see right here, we made high, lower high, low, lower low. And now, most probably what's happening is Bitcoin is going to go up like this, test some key area of resistance, which is probably around this area right here, and then get rejected and continue to fall down. That's my prediction, and that's what I see long term. I don't see BTC going to 100,000, even though many YouTubers are saying, yeah, BTC is going to 100,000, blah blah blah. I don't think so right now. I think it will go to 100,000, but I think we have to correct a little bit more. Probably get rejected a few times back, maybe reach the $20,000, and then probably start our rally up again. Let's go to the chats again to see what's up. Should one trade on the 15-minute charts or minimum the 1 to 4 hour? Okay. So here's the thing. If you want to trade on the 15-minute, it all depends on your entry and exit and your stop loss and the amount of leverage. Usually, people who trade on 1 minute charts or 5 minute charts or 15-minute charts are usually the people who are trading with high leverage. By high, I mean more than 10 for sure. Like one time when I did a trade on BTC at times 125 leverage. People think I was crazy, but actually I was doing on the 1 minute chart. So I just bought, put my stop loss super close to my entry price, which was around like 40,000 something, and then waited for the minute and a half to see the pattern, how it was playing out, and then sold directly after. I made like probably 150% or 200 gain in 1 minute, but it's very, very risky. Like, I wouldn't recommend anyone trading with leverage, especially on small time frames and especially on high leverages. If you want to trade, I suggest you trade like 7 to 10x leverage, and you can trade on high time frames as long as you put proper stop losses. So there is a retrace maze. Yeah, probably just a small retrace, like nothing major. Maybe $500 down or $1,000 down. Do make calls for altcoins. Okay, so here's the thing about altcoins. I love altcoins, okay? But I'm gonna explain one reason why I think the 65K was the top for BTC. So people were focused so much on BTC and so much on the blow off top, right, for BTC, that they forgot about the altcoin market. The altcoin market had a blow off top. And I think that all of this bearish momentum that we're in was caused by the altcoin market just blowing up, a bubble just popping. Because everyone was forgetting BTC and everyone was going to altcoins because they give you higher gains. So BTC started to lose dominance, altcoins started to pump, and then finally, after some time, the people who entered the altcoins last May, let's say 2020 May, wanted to get some profits out. They sold, crashed the market, and now we're here. So for altcoins, my man, I think every altcoin right now will follow BTC. If BTC is acting regularly, bullish, over the 1 hour and 4 hour time frames, not necessarily pumping, but just stabilizing over the 4 hour and the 1 hour to EMA ribbon, then I think many altcoins will keep pumping because everyone wants to buy altcoins. And by many, I mean almost all of the altcoins. Now, the percentage of pumping for altcoins will be different. I can see now in the altcoin market that there's a lot of people focusing on tokens like Cake, which is super good, Bake, Sushi Swap, BNB, like the good coins out there. Let's see, are indicators enough to predict, or should we be using trend lines, etc.? Yeah, of course, trend lines are super important. Uh, Let me show you here example of it. But for me, trend lines are like super super basic. So let's say this. I would have done this for sure. So this is a trend line which will help you see that there was a breakout right here. That's basically what a trend line is. Trend lines are basically when you connect points that have some kind of confluence together. When you connect them, you can find major resistances and major supports. I prefer channels because channels are easier to like look at this. Like you can say that this was like, let's say, I don't know how to draw this. Let's say something like this for resistance, for support, sorry, and something like this for resistance. So this is a trend line that you can see. These are two trend lines that are forming support and resistance together. And then you can see that we're going in a downward channel. I remember I think I was the first one to post this channel on Twitter, this downward channel. The 4 hour EMA ribbon was also, you see, it was coming on confluence with the channel. And we had many fake outs, but always coming back to test the support till we reached a so-called bottom right here, and then we started moving upwards. And now this trend line right here is negated. You don't need to use it anymore, this channel. Trend lines are super important, definitely, but you see many YouTubers like Fibonacci Lee, they like to use just basic stuff like fibs and I don't know what else Lee uses. Like if I remember correctly, he likes to use fib and RSI. Yeah. So Fibonacci Lee, he likes to use fib and RSI a lot. RSI is super good and fib is super good also. But for me, I'd rather use 10 indicators to get a clearer picture of what's going to happen than use just two and just let the rest be chance, because you're gambling with just RSI and fib. It's just a gamble. I don't want to join Snipers Go. I find a welcome. What do you mean by 4 hour EMA? So the 4 hour, okay, so the EMA ribbon, if it for me the easiest way to explain EMA for people is just like the average moving price of a certain stock or a certain token or a certain cryptocurrency. The average moving price. That's basically it. So when you say 4 hour EMA, is basically the average moving price of this stock on this 4 hour time frame, or during every 4 hours, where it's supposed to be. If you want the average price where it's supposed to be, every time a token or something drops below this EMA ribbon, you get a dump, and then this EMA ribbon starts acting as resistance. And every time you cross over it, you're becoming more bullish because you're supposed to be at, like, let's say 40K, and suddenly you're in 45. So you're above the moving average. So that's what EMA is. Are there any specific settings for your RSI indicator? No. There's no specific settings for RSI. EMA ribbon and Ishimoku are the gods of shorting for me. Yeah, definitely. Ishimoku is super good, but like I said, I like to use it in confluence with many other indicators. Banter backs for everyone here. Yeah, for sure. How could you know if it's a fake out when it's forming? Okay, so usually volume and retest. Let's see if I can show you here. I think it's gonna do it here. Let's see. But I'm gonna jump to the 1 hour, which is better. And the 1 hour, I cannot see anything. Also nothing. So fake outs usually come with low volume and usually come with fake retests downwards. So I'm you can see here, this is the most perfect example of a fake out right here. So we had this huge pump. Let me just check if we have volume also. So yeah, it's like clear as day. This is the candle pump, the huge candle pump, and this is the volume right here down. You can see the respective volume. So you can see the volume was super minimal compared to all of these super huge volume candles that you can see here. Look at these right here. Look at this one right here. Look at this one right here. All of this is probably high volume compared to this one right here. So this is the first thing that you will know. The low volume. Second thing that will indicate a fake out is the retest. which is right here. So usually when the price pumps this much and this fast, it always will backtrack again to the lower end of to the upper end of the EMA ribbon. If it holds it, if it holds this, and then you see it pumping up again, then obviously it's not a fake out. And of course you have to look at volume. But what happened here is huge pump, low volume, retest, right here, low volume also, retest again with slight pump but low volume. So everything was low volume until you got this candle right here. This candle right here, where it's like a plus sign, is basically indecision in the market. People don't know whether they're gonna buy or sell. But if you include this with low volume and you include this with the fact that the retest was also low volume, then you know that this is a fake out already. So when you're here, or if you want here, you will know that this is going down for sure. Back down. And it went back down again. Another example you can see, so the other one. But these fake outs, we're talking fake outs on the 4-hour time frame. So let me see if I can show you on the 4 hours. Because you have different fake outs. You see, on the 4-hour time frame, it's clearer than the 2-hour. Again, same thing. You see here, we're trying to climb up. We're broken up the EMA ribbon. We're closing above it. Everyone's happy. Oh, we're going bullish. Oh, we're going to the moon. Look at the volume down. There's like literally no volume. Then again, we go down for the retest. Usually the retest, we have to bounce up from here. But we bounced down with low volume again, and bam, 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 bam. We kept going down until we just went down again. Another time we went up, everyone was thinking, oh, look at this candle, super huge candle. Oh, so bullish. Look at the volume again. Nothing. Got rejected right here, which is probably the 6-hour EMA, if I have to take a guess. So we got rejected here. We formed this indecision in the market, and then due to everything else, we kept dumping till we reached the bottom again. So these are just basic stuff that you will learn throughout TA. EMA ribbons, stocks, how could you? What to use the EMA ribbon on alts, or they are following only BTC? Okay, so you can do the same analysis for altcoins, but usually the altcoins are following BTC now. And by following, I mean they will go up if BTC is stable or pumping, and they will go down if BTC dumps or isn't stable in a bearish momentum kind of thing. Okay? If BTC is stable and BTC is pumping normal, then the altcoins will go up no matter what. But the only difference will be the rate that they go up in. So some altcoins will pump times 50, some altcoins will pump times 5, but they will not go down anymore. And if they correct, they'll probably correct 3 to 4%, not more. That's why I'm studying BTC now the most, because they're going to tell me where the altcoin market is going. Good explanations. Might be in a rising wedge. Might we be in a rising wedge? Yeah, probably. But for me, it's more of a symmetrical triangle. For example, BTC bullish at the 4-hour chart. Does it mean it will pump within the hour, within 4 hours? Which indicators you have to check? Okay, so this question is kind of important because I used to ask this question a lot. Monique is saying BTC is bullish at the 4-hour chart. Does it mean it will pump within the hour, within 4 hours? Which indicators you have to check? Okay, so let me just clarify this for everyone. The 4-hour time frame usually dictates the move of a token or a stock in around a range of, let's say, 8 to 12 up to 24 hours. So if you're looking at the 4-hour time frame, right, and you're analyzing it and you're seeing bullish momentum everywhere, indicators are flashing, blah blah blah, this indicates that most probably for the next 12 to 24 hours you will have this bullish momentum continue until otherwise. Now the daily, for example, it will usually specify the week, what's going to happen in this week. So if you're bullish on the daily, it means for the upcoming week or 10 days, you're going to be bullish, most probably, if everything is like bullish momentum. For the weekly, it means the month, obviously, like for the upcoming months. And for the monthly, we're talking now about years or 6 months at least. So each time frame is actually more than it really is, and it will tell you what will happen in more time rather than less time. So if you're bullish on the 4 hour, you can expect up to 12 hours of bullishness, even 24 also. Nice volume check. Thank you. Hope you learned. The current volume is quite minimal compared to the recent trend. So do you think this is a recent break of the 4 hour? It could also be a fake out. Let's check it out. Let's check it out. Let's check it out. Okay, so first of all, first you can see, right, it's happening like I've been telling you for it's like perfect example. Look at this. Bam, going for the retest. Now how low will we drop? We can drop to 37.5 and bounce back if we want. And we can drop up to, let's say, 36, 36.9, 36.8, and we'll still be in the range of retesting. As long as volume comes in and we have another pump upwards, then I think this is not a fake out. Now for the volume, the easiest way, by the way, for new beginners to TA to learn, right? Always, always, always look left. Always look at what happened before. If you look at history, history usually repeats itself all the time. So let's say you don't know what a good indicator of volume is, or you don't know how much volume is a good type of volume. Look at the fake out right here, and look how much volume we had, the bars, compared to these three bars. Now this is a lot of volume. This right here is a lot of volume. This right here is a lot of volume. This, yeah, it's low volume, but compared to the previous 4 hours, it's more now. So we have to wait to see also this close, this retest. If this candle closes wherever, as long as it's above the 4 hour EMA, and then you see a good amount of volume coming in, then it's probably not a fake out, and then we probably will continue a little bit upwards. And this is just speaking from EMA ribbons and volume without taking the other indicators into account. Not too far away. Don't go. What do you think about the end of June CME? What will the affecting? So this is super good. So what's his name? Silver Sheriff. He's asking, what do you think about end of June CME? So the CME futures quarterly close expiration. What way will it affect things? Okay, super amazing question. I've been wanting to show this for many people for a long time. So let me go to switch to the daily. I think the daily you can see it. Let me take away the EMA ribbons. Okay. So like I told you guys, every time you want to look at something, always go back to history. Always look left and see what history has given you. And then you can learn of what's going to happen next, or at least a probability, because TA is a lot of probability, but having a probability will help you in at least knowing what you want to do, whether you're going to stay in this market or you're going to leave. So look here. Let me take Jan was the only exception for me, I think. Yeah, Jan was the only exception for me. But uh, even though, not really, but I will show you anyways. Look at this. So January, right? January 8th. Peak reached, dump happened, bottomed out by the end of the month, pump happened. Okay? Reached in 20 Feb. 20 Feb, dump happened. Again, end of the month, after the dump bottom was reached, pump again. Then here we had 13 March, so 13 to 12 March. Here I was actually expecting also the same pattern to be playing out. Like I was looking at this, I'm like, oh, okay, so we're pumping till at least the 20th of each month. At the end of the month, we're dumping, and then we pumped here to 21st of February. Then we dumped at the end of the month. So I was also expecting for a pump here to at least last till 20 of March. But it came a little bit earlier. Obviously, I saw it because I was using also my indicator. And this is why I'm telling you, sticking to one strategy only is not going to help you out. You need to put everything, all of your indicators, and analyze everything and then come to a conclusion. But basically, it's around the same time frame. So 12 March, give or take a few days, right? 14 March, and then a dump happened. The dump kept going till 24 March, so also end of the month. And then we had another pump, and then look again, 13 April. So you see here, we reached a peak in 12 or 13, between 12 and 14. Here, we reached the peak in 13. And here, we reached the peak in 8 to 10. Now, if you analyze this, this is exponential decrease. So we started 20. So yeah, this is the only exception right here in January where it peaked around 10, which is also within the range. But after this, we started peaking in 20, 20, 20, sorry, 14, 12, and then returned to 10 again. So you can see a pattern that usually the cycle tops, the local tops, or I'm not going to call them local tops, I'm going to call them the pumps because all of them are pumps. Usually the pumps are ending between 10 and 20 of each month. That's what I can see here. So we can keep pumping from here up till 20 and we'll reach probably 50K by 20. But I'm saying by 10 because recently we're seeing an exponential decrease. So we used to reach 20, 20, and then 20, and then finally 13, and then 14, and then 10. And then every time it's getting shorter. The pumps are getting shorter, meaning the pumps are getting weaker, meaning the rallies are getting weaker. So take that into consideration and then form a strategy and form a hypothesis or a formula. And you will know that most probably by, I would say, tops 10 June, we will either see a huge dump or a continuation upwards. Like 10 June is like, it's like the final day for me. By 10 June, you will know where we're going. And even if we see a continuation upwards, so even if we see something play out like this, so they go up, I still believe we will reach something here around the 48, 45K level and then get rejected again and then form another lower low. Now, most probably, if I had to guess, if you want to see like some quick TA that I do in real time, so look, BTC loves to trade in channels. It loves not only BTC, but most cryptos, most stocks, they love to trade in channels. And usually these channels are parallel channels. Now, not to say that they can be otherwise, they can be wedges, let's say. They can, of course they can. So this can actually be something like that and like this, which is a falling wedge, which is super bullish, which I expect it might happen. So if we're bullish on BTC, for example, I would draw a pattern of a falling wedge like this because I already have my support touch points. I have here and I have here. I'm going to ignore the wicks. But I will play this and I will assume that BTC is in a falling wedge. And I will assume that it's doing this movement like this. And it'll probably contest something around these lines. Or maybe also these lines like this by 8th of June. You see, it's perfect. It's 8 June. So if we keep pumping and we're in our falling wedge, we might get rejected here and then keep dumping till 25K. Something along those lines. Now, these are all expectations. These are all probabilities. But this is how I like to analyze the market. I like to see the patterns before they play out. Because the patterns are usually fixed. Another pattern that we can use is a broadening wedge. But for me, this one doesn't really play out because for me, I'd rather make it as a channel also. So I'd rather make it as a parallel channel like this because the broadening wedge is too wide. And you can see also if you keep pumping like this, over the next few days. We'll probably reach 45K, get rejected again, reach 20K. So it's these patterns are always playing out in BTC and in other stocks and cryptos as well. And you have to understand that all patterns play out in waves. It's always waves. Elliott waves are the most important waves that you need to know about, and they always play out no matter what. And this is how price move. That's why I told you guys, price never goes down in a straight line. It always will rebound. Now, not to say that this price can't rebound to something that looks like this and do like a Wyckoff. It can. But the point is, the price will always play in waves. And how do you take the most profit out of these waves? If you ride the waves up. So if you bought at 30K alts, let's say, you're not trading, you just bought alts here at 30K. You're in profit now. You're 100% profit for sure. If you bought the alts here and you sold here, you're in profit also. If you bought here, you sold here, profit also. Now, what happens with people mostly, and I will tell you, this is what happens with most of you guys is, you see the price goes down to here, you get scared, you sell, and then the price starts pumping, pump, 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 and then you see, oh, okay, it's recovering, so you buy here. After you buy here, the price reaches here, and then you think, the price is going to go up more, let me hold more, and then you keep holding, and then what happens is the market dumps, and you lose everything. And then when you're here, you get scared, you sell again, and then the cycle continues itself forever. So my advice for every beginner here is, even if you're not so right now, right here, right, we're here. Buying here currently is dangerous. Even though we can go to 45 or even 50,000, but it's also dangerous because you never know that this one can just go like this, make a slightly higher high, and then get rejected down. It can happen. And then you're probably buying here, and then you're gonna end up at a loss again in at this point right here. So my best advice is wait it out. If you couldn't buy the low here and you're itching to go into the market, my advice is don't do it. Even though I'm telling you the market is bullish, we're gonna go to 45, we're gonna go to 50, we're gonna go to this. It's way better to wait a few weeks for the BTC price to correct, because it will correct for sure. And then you buy right here. And then trust me, you will make more profit buying here than buying here. Because from here to 55, you'll probably make a 20 or 30% gain. But if you buy at the bottom here of a strong correction, and you saw this before, many alts pumped like 50 or 100% in one day just because of this small pump right here in the price. Now, yeah, for me, I was just telling you guys, like, I think this is like a falling channel, and I think that we're gonna go up and get rejected around this area, which is like 45 to 46 area. Let me go to the chat to see what's up. Um, let me see, where was I? So yeah, about the June CME futures thing, I told you already. There's a quarterly expiration of the CME futures contracts in, I think, the last Friday of this month. And usually a week, even 10 days before this happens, huge correction happens to BTC. So if you're gonna tell me when, we can bump till 20 max, but I think there's a correction before for sure. What do you think about the BTC within the next 6 months? I cannot predict that far, but I think we're still bullish in the long term. I still feel we will correct till maybe August, and then after August we will see a nice pump till Feb. Some analysts are saying that this bear market is going to continue more than expected. Some people are saying it's going to go to the mid 2022 or end of 2022, and then the bull run will restart in 23. But I don't think so. And the reason that I don't think this is gonna happen is very simple. Market makers. People are expecting the price of BTC to go into a bear market. And you know that in a bear market is where people get rich. Do you honestly think? And now you see that BTC has grown a lot and the crypto community has grown a lot. Like everyone's buying crypto. My grandmother, my grandfather, people who never know anything about crypto, they're starting to buy crypto. So this just shows that crypto is growing more and more, more and more, more and more. So do you really think market makers will allow this huge amount of people to catch this bear market at the bottom to be rich in the future? Because if 50 or 60% of the population know that the bear market is coming, then okay, let's wait together till BTC drops to 12K, go all in at 12K, and then be millionaires. 60% of the world is going to be millionaires in like a year or two. I don't think that's going to happen. I don't think market makers will allow this to happen for sure. It's either two scenarios in my brain. Scenario A is that the bear market is going to be way, way shorter than what people expect and it's not going to be as severe. So you're not going to see ADA going back to zero point 0.2 or zero point 0.3. You're not going to see XRP going to zero point 0.3. You're not going to see BNB going to like $35. Because if we're in a real bear market, these are the prices that they're going to reach. So I don't see this coming, or at least it might come, but in a short period of time. So this is my first scenario. Second scenario is I think that this is just a manipulation game, and this is just a super dump that's gonna trick most of humanity. Like they're gonna make market makers are gonna make people believe BTC is the future, and then everyone's gonna wait the bear market at 12K. Everyone's gonna invest, and then suddenly BTC goes down to like $50 or something. So there's no other two options for me. It's either A or B. And the second option about BTC going to like $5. I only say this because I'm skeptic that market makers will allow people to get rich. A, and I'm also skeptic that governments will allow BTC to thrive. Like I don't really you see already how governments are trying to ban and fight Bitcoin. Most probably what's going to happen if scenario B happens is that governments are going to come up there with their own cryptocurrency, with their own digital reserve, and then just throw away BTC, and the people who invested in BTC were just going to cry because their expectations weren't met. So basically these couple of 10 years that were passed are just a plan to dump the BTC, get rich, and then impose a new world digital currency or whatever. You still think under 30K? Yes, definitely. Till proven otherwise. Till we break 56K at least. The perm complex with low volume also. If this is a fake out, we will have to wait. Till now, it's looking okay. It's not bad. What is meant by long and short? Long and short, if you mean in trading or time frames, long time frame is just like a couple of weeks ahead or month. Short time frame is like a day or hours. If you're talking about long and short in the trading aspect, long is basically when you're betting that the price will go higher, and short is when you're betting that the price is going to go lower. Then your entry point. When did you start? I thought you were starting at 12 p.m. EST and I will have to catch up. Thanks for doing this, maze. Oh, no problem. Sorry, I had some technical issues, so I had to start earlier. I sold the pump simply because RSI peaked. Um, if you're trading, it usually is a good idea to sell at the RSI peak for sure. Now, if you're hodling or buying alts, it really doesn't make a difference. Like it's just a if Bitcoin retraces like a few percent only on your alts. What do you think about the BTC Miami event? Honestly, I don't know. I don't think anything. For me, all of these events are all of these things that you see and all of these bullish momentums and bullish news. They're nothing. They're for me. I charts are everything. Charts and market makers. I don't believe news pump prices. Now they have an influence on the price, but not as much as you guys think. I saw the poem. What do you think about the BTC? Okay, why would the outlet be so different between 4 and 1 additional indicator? Example, the 1 day Ichi cloud looks good, but for hour. Okay, so this is a good question. The what's the name? Wakitipu. Why would the outlook be so different between 4 hour and 1 day time frames and indicators? Examples: the 1 day Ichi cloud looks good, but the 4 hour less so. It's very basic. It means if you have an indicator flashing green on the daily, let's say, to make things simple for the people here, and you have a indicator flashing red in the 4 hourly, this just basically means that for the next 1 or 2 days, you're gonna have some downside, but for the upcoming week, the overall will be uptrend. That's how it plays out. 30-minute chart, bearish diversion, low volume so far, overvolume. Yeah, so this is a perfect example. If there's a 30-minute bearish divergence, it just means in the next hour or two, we're just gonna have some downward momentum, which is good for traders. If you're scalping or just trading short trades. Um, Looks like a right shoulder forming more than anything. Um, I don't know what time frame you're talking about. On the daily or on the 4 hour? Let me check. Yeah, sure. It's possible, but I wouldn't really I wouldn't really call this a head and shoulders yet. I think this is what you're talking about, something like that. But I don't think yet. I don't think so. We'll have to see it playing out. Let's see. I'd rather have BTC hit 20K and move up. Hey friend, is the echo? I don't know if there's an echo or not. How do you set your trend lines? So trend lines are basically touch points of support or resistance. That's it. If you see different and usually trend lines are straight lines. Like you cannot make a wiggly trend line. So if you see different touch points where the price is finding a lot of resistance, this is your trend line. Your trend line has to be there. It has to start there. Something that looks like this. You can see. Now the trend lines don't really need to be perfect, like fully touching the point, because like I said, sometimes you have fake outs. But as long as you have this trend line that is like touching as much as you can, as many points, you can find your resistance, and then you can find your support. And obviously these trend lines do adjust. So it can be like this, and then which is also very plausible for me and actually nice. I drew this. I don't know if I have it in my channel or no, but look at this. This is gonna make so much sense. Okay, so if you see this, right, look what happened here. We dumped, tested the trend line for support, pumped, tested trend line for resistance, dumped, support, pumped, resistance, dumped, couldn't hold it anymore, then dumped more, right? And now we formed another how do you want to call it, another pattern here. But what is interesting, if you take these points and you make them as a trend line rather than the one I was showing you earlier, you can see that the price of BTC can basically get rejected here, right there, because this is our bottom support line, bottom trend line. And we have 1, 2, 3 points, 3 touch points. So it's good resistance. And this trend line is coming in around, what do you know, 40,000, the 40,000 mark. And this can be adjusted um, slightly if you want to make it something like this. And then bam, you have a resistance trend line right here, which was previous support. Like I said, it doesn't have to be 100% accurate, but you can adjust it accordingly to see where we're going next. So now, if this price keeps going up in the next coming days, right? I think 40K is the resistance level to watch out for. I've been saying this for a while, but this trend line just shows you how important trend lines can be. Also, you can expect that BTC will at least retest this, and most likely for me, it will get rejected. Now, if you see a breakout and then a retest and then a pump again, then this is confirmed breakout already. Then we'll probably see higher highs, and we will probably go to around 50,000 around. But that's why I've been saying it all depends on this level, the 40K level. Once you break this 40K level and then retest it again for support and then bounce again, now you have a confirmed support, and then you can go test the upper resistance area again. Here, if we do reach this, I honestly think there's a rejection and another dump for sure. But obviously, I have to wait and see it playing out. Like, I cannot just judge without my indicators. Let's see. Wyckoff accumulation possible? Yeah, it is possible, but not on the 3 hour time frame. It's very unlikely. Wyckoff takes a lot of time to form. Now, there might be an exception because everyone thinks it's unlikely, so it probably can happen. So I'm always looking at it, always, of course. How can we predict this? Predict what exactly? All the good at this YouTube thing for your first video. Keep up the good. Thank you so much. Appreciate the support. So in your opinion, we will go to 48 and then 24. Listen, so Jay is asking if I think we're going to 48 and then 24. Honestly speaking, I'm hoping so. I'm hoping we go test at least 48,000. But with that said, right now it's not looking like we're going there. There's no bullish momentum, even though the indicators are good and they're flashing green, right? There's no rallies, there's no buying power. The RSI is still so low compared to before. So, and we're having such a hard time at the 40K level. Like, we haven't even broken it. We've tested it 3 times already. So I'm hoping we go to 48, but now it's most likely we're gonna go to 24 rather than 48 or even low 20s. And I've talked to many analysts as well, and I think most of the, like I know my friend, he's a super great analyst. He's called Emil Trader. He has like an IG, super efficient guy, Spanish also. But he has like a VIP member group, and you have to pay like 1,000K or 2,000K to just subscribe to his signals, right? And he basically told most of his subs like take out profits. Like he messaged me yesterday. He's like, yo, start taking out profits. I'm like, no, not yet. He has his trading style and his trading view, and I have mine. But we both have a agreement that yeah, we should start at least need to ladder out some profits just in case a dump happens. Like I don't want to be all in the market and lose like 70% of my portfolio. Um, in one of your was one of these people. Wait, let me see. In your opinion, okay. In your opinion, will you risk taking profits or you huddle back to buy more when the market corrects, or just ride the correction and sell only when targets are met? Okay, so let me just explain something to you guys. And I know many people in Twitter know this already about me. I have been out of the market since 65,000. I sold everything around 65K. I made like a substantial profit, sold everything, took out my capital, and just waited for the dump to play out. Once the dump reached around 30,000, I bought some alts again because I'm interested in accumulating some of them. And now I'm just riding this wave upwards. I'm just waiting to see where we go. Take into consideration that I bought my alts super low. So my entry prices, let's say for I bought CHZ Chili's, which I think is an amazing project. I think it's like the future of sports tokens. So I bought it at like 0.16, so 16 cents. Now it's around 27, and it peaked, I think, at 31. I think. And at 31, I took some partial profits, kept some in, and now I'm waiting for the market, and I raised my stop loss. So before the market was pumping, I put my stop loss at break even, so at 0.16. And then when I saw CHZ going to like 26 or 27, I put my stop loss at like 21 or 22. And now CHZ is at 27 still. I'm also moving my stop loss slightly. So now my stop loss is around 23.5. And day by day, I'm going to keep moving my stop loss upwards. As long as I see BTC not pumping and consolidating, I'm going to move my stop loss up and up and up till I reach a point where I'm happy with the market doing whatever it wants. Let it stop me out. Let it take away 5% of my profits. I don't care. So that's my opinion from my personal perspective. Now, other people here, and especially on Twitter, they've been in the market since 65 and they're 50% loss. If I was you, if I'm a guy who was at 50% loss, right, I will hodl. There's no other way to say it nicely. I will basically hodl. If I don't have USDT, I will hodl. You can short. You can sell at 39 and then wait for a dump and then buy. Yeah, you can. But I never sell everything, even if we're at 55K. I will sell like 80%, keep 20% in, just in case. If it keeps pumping up, I'll buy the retrace and let it pump again. If not, like I told you guys, wait for the big correction, wait for the big dip. It's always gonna come. Even people tell you we're going to 100K. The correction will always, always, always come. Now it's up to you whether you have the strength to wait 2 weeks as the market pumps. It's up to you. Now we're at 38K, right? And let's say you are in USDT because you missed the 30K dump. Some of you for sure want like they're itching to go in. They want to FOMO in right now. You can do it. But when you do this, right, it's not trading anymore. It's not TA. It's a gamble. You're just gambling. You're gambling that the market is gonna go up, and then you're gonna put like your portfolio or half of your capital in, and just hope that BTC goes up. Because even good TAs are not gonna predict everything to the point, to the exact T. So I don't do gambling. If you want to gamble, it's up to you. But for me, my best advice is hold, wait. If you miss that 30K dump, even if the price goes to 50 in 2 weeks, it's okay. Wait it out. It's gonna correct again. Once it's correct, you buy the red and you sell the green. And then I promise you, you will make way more profits than buying now for like a 10% pump. Mm, when you say alts, you're talking high cap or mid cap. I'm talking everything, all the alts. I told you the only difference between alts is that the rate they pump. That's it. When BTC is pumping, everything is pumping. Everything's green. But some of the alts are like plus 4%. Some of the alts are like plus 3%. In one of your tweets, you mentioned if BTC will not reach 40K by Friday, you are selling it. Are you still selling all or partial amount? Yeah. So this is a great question. Thank you for asking, Zara. Right. So yeah. I'm definitely considering to sell. If I'm in profits, a lot of profits, I'll probably sell 80%. But if I'm not in huge profits, I'll probably sell everything. It's up to how much profits I make. So let's say I'm at break even. Let's say I'm at like nothing. No win, no loss. I'll probably still keep like 10% in the market just in case. But most probably I will take all of it out. Every time during a dip, I'm thinking it will go further lower and not buying. After it going up, I'm regretting any solutions for this. Yeah, so so this is good example. We went to 33K, you bought, and then it went down to 30K, and then you think, oh, I'm screwed. Or maybe it went to 30K, and then you say, oh, I think it's gonna go lower, and then finally it just bottoms out at 30, and you missed the pump. The only good advice I can give you is ladder in. So when you see the price dumping like a 44% dump, right? You can put, let's say, 20% of the money you want to invest at 33,000. And then if it dumps again another 10%, you put another 20% at 30,000. Just play it safe. If it dumps another 10%, you play again with 20% of your capital again. If it doesn't and it pumps, then it's okay. It pumped. At least you have 40% invested in. It's not like you're sitting on the sidelines waiting for the dump to happen again. Always ladder in. Always dollar cost average. It's the best thing you can do. How do you know when to make an ascending channel? Like I told you, just connect the touch points together. So I can show you here quickly. It's This is why I said like people who are good in geometry, it's easier for them to see these types of structures happening in the market. So okay, let's assume forget the April peak. Let's say we are in what is this, March, right? So you see, let me show you here. You see low. This is the daily, right? Lower low, another low, and these are our three touch points. Now, like I said, they don't have to be exactly to the teeth, to the exact measured point, because sometimes the price action doesn't reach that point. So I wouldn't do something like this. I would probably keep it around this, like that. Why? Because you can see I have a touch point here, a touch point here, a touch point here, and a touch point here. And this, it respected the resistance at least. It didn't come to retest, but it stayed above it, so it's fine. And then for the uh, resistance areas, if you want, so I would do something probably like this. And I always try to make them parallel. Sometimes you have broadening wedges, so you can do this, for example, but it doesn't make sense because you have this and it's too far. So you just make it as close as possible to the peak, like that. And then this one right here is just a fake out on the daily. It just couldn't stay above the resistance area, and then it dropped back down. Very easy. And now after you do this, you have a channel like that. And if you want to get more advanced, right, and you want to make a real channel like the ones I have in my chart, so you go to the second indicator here where you have the trend lines, right, and then you can see here parallel channel. So you can use it and you can adjust it accordingly. So I'm going to do something like this. I will remove my trend lines, and then you have your channel. And for me, I'm the type of person who likes to use channels more than trend lines, because channels show you more. They show you the heart line of the channel, and you can see the heart line is super important. It's respected a lot. It acts as super strong support also. So look, support, 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 and then here it couldn't hold anymore, broke down, tested the lower end of the channel, tried to test again the heart line, got rejected, dropped again to the bottom, started to go up. Finally here broke the heart line, came up. You see, this is a perfect example of something that is not a fake out. Look, big pump, came up, went down to the retest, which is the heart line, right? And then bounced up again from the heart line, consolidated, retested the heart line again, confirmed it as support, went up to the higher end of the channel, broke it up, went down for the retest but failed. So if BTC didn't fail this, then it probably goes up more. Failed the retest, came down again to the heart line, consolidated, got rejected again from the heart line, so on and so forth, till it broke the heart line again, blah blah blah, so on and so forth. So you see, and you can see like it looks like magic, but it's not. Look here. Look at this. It went down, it retested, it went up, and got rejected exactly at the heart line again. So if you're a trader who bought here, then you know that you have to get out here, because the heart line is being a huge pain in the ass for everyone. It's like a huge resistance. And this is why I like to use channels more than trend lines. Trend lines I use definitely, but for bigger time frames and for parallel channels, I'd rather use the channel than the trend line. Mm, let me see. Ah, so many questions. What is the average risk level you are willing to take on your trades? It's up to the amount of money that I'm placing. So, so let's say you're a beginner trader, right? Let's say you have $1,000 and you're trading with $1,000, right? As a beginner trader, 5% is good. It's good for a stop loss or the risk that I'm willing to lose if I had $1,000. 5 to 10, yeah. But of course, the bigger the amount of money you're playing with, so if you're playing with 10K for trade, right? Then the 5% is going to be $500 now. It's a small amount compared to the 10K, but the question ends up to be in your it's like in your ballpark. You're the one who's going to decide whether this $500 is acceptable as a loss or not. No one can help you with that. Everyone has their own idea of what is acceptable or not. My personal is 5%. 5 to 10% I think is okay. Um how do you set demand and supply levels, especially those buy or sell zones? Okay. Buy and sell zone. Um so now we're talking trading more than anything else. So first, the buy zone and the sell zone is up to your analysis and up to your charts and up to your channels. I'm gonna give you a small example because we're doing the daily and I have my channel here already. So I'm gonna give you the example of this. Okay. So let's say we I'm gonna just give you the simplest example. Let's say we are here, right? We are in Jan 18. We see BTC dropping. Number one for you guys, okay? I never ever buy or trade the middle of a channel unless I see a confirmed retest. So I will never buy here, this pump right here, ever. I will probably buy the retest, yes, but I will never buy this. Why? Because you never know if you go up and then you get rejected back down, or if you just reach this point and you just fall down ASAP. So this is the first rule that I want everyone to know and to make it super clear for everyone. I will never put my buy zone in the middle of the channel, no matter what happens, no matter anyone says, unless it is a retest. We're talking about buying now, not selling, because selling is another story also. But let's say we are here, and then we saw, like I told you, I will never buy here, and then we saw BTC dropping, and we saw it drop, right? It will drop to this point right here, and then okay, I will wait the retest here. It went up. I will also not buy here, by the way. It dropped. It's gonna go up again, but I'm not gonna buy this pump because it's gonna get rejected on the retest and probably before. It went up, got rejected from the retest and then went back down. For me, I will probably put my buy zone around this area right here. This is my buy zone. Why? Because A, it's the bottom of the channel. Also, I wouldn't put it that low. I'll probably put it like, yeah, that's okay. I think that will be okay. Maybe a little bit higher. Maybe something like this. I'll probably put this as my buy zone. Now, I would ladder in also. I will not put 100% buy here. I will probably put like 20% and ladder it downwards. So like 20% here at the beginning of the channel, 20% at the middle of the channel, 20% at the end of the channel. Now, sometimes you get your orders filled up, sometimes you don't. It's luck, and at the end of the day, you're not gonna hit the perfect mark. It's very hard. But this is where I would put my buy zone. Why? Because I know that BTC is trading in this channel right here. I know this already. I know that BTC is doing this. So if I was a trader, I'll probably buy here or here or here or here. My buy zones will be at the bottom of the channel. Anything at the bottom of the channel, I will buy. Now, take into account that I'm a different type of trader because I use different indicators. So I know it's easier for me to know where to buy than most traders because I use the ADX and the squeeze, which helps me out a lot in finding out the bottom of a dump. But yeah, I will usually put the buy zone there, and I will put the stop loss probably around something like there, something like this. Let's say no, wait, small stop loss. So something like that. It will be my stop loss. So if it wicks down, it's okay. I don't mind. I will be stopped out from some of my trades. It's not the end of the day, but you have to learn that sometimes wicks do happen, and sometimes you have to be ready to accept that they're gonna happen. Now, if I set my buy zone there, okay, and my stop loss there, my most probable uh, laddering out exit strategy would be somewhere around the middle of the heartline, which is right there. You see. But of course, I will not put my sell order right here at the middle. I will put before, definitely. I will ride the wave up. Like if I'm here, I will take partial profits, here, partial profits, here, partial profits, till I remove everything. And then if we get rejected, at least I took everything else. And also I will be moving my stop loss. So the more I take, profits upwards, the more I move my stop loss upwards. So if I'm laddering in, I'm taking out, right? Laddering out. I'll start moving my stop loss like this. I laddered out here, I put it here. I laddered out here, I put it here. I laddered out here, I put it here. Till finally it will stop me out and then I'm okay. I will buy again at the bottom of the channel one more time. So I hope that answers your question. Where do you see BTC at the end of this year? If we are bullish and if what I believe will happen really happens, I think we'll probably go to between 80 to 120,000. That's my range. I don't think BTC goes to 300. Are there any books, online resources that you've come across that would recommend to beginners? I would recommend there's a book called The Encyclopedia of Patterns. I would recommend everyone to start there because patterns are the easiest thing to start with in TA. They're the easiest. So when you're a beginner TA, you start looking for patterns. Ah, head and shoulder. Ah, double bottom. Ah, bull flag. Ah, bear flag. And then the more you dig into these patterns, the more you develop your TA skills. So first you start with patterns, then you start with trend lines, then you EMA ribbons, then volume, BPVR, then everything else comes. Support became resistance, and if it breaks through that, then we're back in the same channel, which is still heading downwards, as Crypto Maze mentioned earlier. Yeah, I will check it out, but yeah, it will definitely go back into the channel, probably continue upwards, reject it at the top, get back down again. If things get a bit longer to go up, do you think that will be better? It would act almost like a form of consolidation while moving upward. Um, Look, if we're going upwards slowly, then yes, I agree with you million percent. It's better than just pumping to 40K or 50K or whatever. But the problem with BTC is that it's not even holding this upwards slight bullish momentum. That's the only thing that is wrong with it. It's going up and then bam, rejection goes down. Goes up, bam, rejection goes down. Pumps up suddenly, bam, gets rejected suddenly. So the selling pressure is very high at the top and it's not going up gradually. Now, if it goes up gradually, then yeah, I agree with you. It's better for the long term, definitely. But this is my problem with BTC, that is not going up gradually anymore. It's just pumping slightly for a few hours, dumping after, pumping slightly, dumping after. So yeah. Where do you see ETH going with dip 155 in July? Honestly, even though everyone's saying that ETH is going to outperform Bitcoin, if Bitcoin dumps, ETH is going down with it. Basic. That's it for me. Like, I'm bullish on ETH. ETH is great. It's amazing. It's probably the future of crypto. It's more in demand than BTC also, and it's has more use than BTC. But big dog is BTC. BTC goes down, everything goes down with it. Until we get mass adoption and separation, BTC alts, it's gonna stay like this forever. I hope that answered your question. How do you place your stop loss? I just explained it. Stop loss usually is below the support line, the support trend line. So in the video I showed you, it's below the my resistance, my support trend line, my support channel. How lower is up to you. Like, how much are you willing to lose then? Which exchange market do you use? I use Binance. I'm in and 50% loss. Yeah, I'm sorry that you're at 50% loss, but that's what I was trying to avoid, and that's what I was trying to inform the community through, like, banter group. But I got just hate mail for that. I even, like, you guys don't know this, but I went to their Telegram channel, and I just posted some graphs there, some charts, and I just warned the people, like, and I said, like, if you don't want to follow me on Twitter, it's fine. I'll just stay here and I'll post for you guys so you can just know where we're going. And then the next day I got banned. I don't know why, honestly. Hodl since 2017. Yeah, man. Hodling is the if you can hodl, you're a champ in my eyes. For me, I'd rather ride the waves. Once the wave reaches the top, like, there's no need for me to hodl at 65. Like, I will sell. I will sell at 65 and then buy lower. And then when it goes up again, I will say sell high and buy low again. Accumulate more that way. Hodling is good. It's less stress on the mind, definitely. Why not just use trailing stop loss feature from Human instead of every time adjusting stop loss manually? I love them. I don't like trailing stops. I like to adjust it manually. It makes me feel more comfortable in my trade. It makes me feel more in control of my trade, because you never know when the market decides to flip, and then everything you said is done. That's why I like to always adjust, because I'm always up to date with the market and always seeing where it's going and where it's coming. Do you short BTC or alts? If so, which portal exchange? So yeah, I use Binance, and I trade BTC and I short alts. I like to accumulate some alts because I think some alts have a huge future ahead. Huge, huge. DeFi and, like, the Pancake Swap, Sushi Swap, like, these are for sure, they're like futuristic tech, right? But I see more, even though, like, the coins I bought or I shorted recently, they're not pumping too much. But for me, they're the future because they have a use case already, like VeChain, like Chili's, CHZ. They have use case already. They have demand and supply, and they're being used, and they have great partnership with big companies. And once this crypto market start to gets going and starts to become bullish again, and once, like, for example, for Chili's and for VeChain, once the economy starts running back again, and we start having this transportation happening again, and supply management coming back again, and sports teams, and like, the World Cup is next year. Like, I don't know why people forget this. Next year is 2022. The World Cup is coming, and the only sports fan token out there is Chili's, and they have like a token for Argentina already. So for me, I think it's the future. So I love to accumulate these types of alts: Cake and Bake and Sushi Swap and Solana and Luna and Injective. They're all amazing, yeah, but they still don't have use case. That's why I'd rather invest in something that I see has a huge potential, 100%, than something that has competition and that might or might not achieve what it achieves. Uh, I'm trying to answer most of your question because I know many of you messaged me from Twitter. So, and I will do the analysis before I go for sure. But the analysis for me, guys, is still the same basically. But I'm gonna do it in front of you to teach you a little bit about the ADX and the squeeze. I can save this live, but I actually don't know how. That's my only problem. Like, people are still like, many people on other different channels, like the Banter group and like, um, uh, Tony Journey or what else, BitBoy or Satoshi Stacker's channel. They think I'm here for fame. Like, I have no idea what I'm doing. I'm just here to help people. Like, I set this up today, and I just put the things like fast. Tomorrow, I'm actually going on a holiday with the missus. So I'm just a normal guy trying to help everyone out, and I'm not expecting anything in return. Honestly, I'm just happy. I'm sharing information with people. What is your worst case scenario? Worst case scenario. We don't bounce. So short term, right? We don't bounce. We get rejected at 30, 38.5, 39. Huge dump to 25. Relief rally to 32. Another dump to 23 or 20. Another relief rally to 25, 26, 27. Another dump to 17. Another relief rally to 25. And then finally a dump to 12. And then the super worst case scenario is after the dump to 12, we go back to 3 or 4 or 2 or 1K and crypto is over. That's the super worst. But I'm not sure about the super worst yet. Yeah, welcome Knox to the stream. Hope you're here. Hope you're enjoying so far. Good you're here. For short-term trading, what's the best interval? 30 minutes, 1 hour, 6 hour, etc. It's up to you, my friend. It's like if you want to scalp and you want to play high leverage, you have to use the short time frame. Like you cannot use high leverage on long time frames. If you're gonna trade on the 1 hour, the 6 hour, so on and so forth, recommend to use low leverage. Definitely, for sure. But of course, the higher time frames are more secure, less risk if you want, but they're less profit also. During a correction, are there ways to know where the final dip is, such as the recent 30K? Every time I think it's a final dump, it dumps more. Yeah, I will give you so you can use fib levels, Fibonacci, or you can use the squeeze and the ADX, which I'm currently using. And obviously, you can use also previous support and resistance zones to know where we might be going. But I will explain this for sure. If we sell assuming a temporary pump, expecting a dump, what key things should we look out for to determine that the dump is not actually happening and we should re-enter? If we bounce off, oh, sorry, if we drop below, for me, around 32,000. Yeah, so if we retest 30,000, I think that's the signal to get out of the market after the small relief rally that comes after. Because if we drop back to 30K, it means we're making a lower low again. Like till now, we're making higher lows. So we were 30, then 31, then 33. So if we make something below 33, then I think we're gonna be forming a lower low, and then we're gonna be doing another downward channel one more time, and the probability of going lower than 30 gets higher for sure. As long as we dump and we don't dump under $33,000, I still think you can re-enter the market. Dollar cost average, DCA. Don't go for all in also. So the question would be, which dips are safe to buy? So yeah, I just explained these dips. Okay, I will give you a secret to this is just a freebie for everyone. Every time there's a huge dip, and I'm scared, right? If it's gonna dip lower or not. But I wanna buy the market. I wanna go in. What I do is I ladder in, so I buy with 20% or 30%, and then I put a stop loss of 5%, 5 to 10%. And that's it. Pretty easy. The market dumps again, it kicks me out at 5 to 10%, and then I rebuy again with 40% rather than 20%. That way I can catch up on any 5 to 10% losses that I have. So I have that. I hope that answered your question. So short term, we are looking at a rejection of 40,000, most likely. Even if I don't think we're gonna test it, but I hope so. I hope we like. I'm hoping so, and the charts are the indicators are flashing green right now. So yeah, the only point of concern is that my indicator curves to zero, and then we start consolidating. So that means dump coming. So I'm running away. I will explain this also. What exact price did you set up your BTC stop loss? Right now I'm not trading anything. I traded everything already. Now I'm just taking a breather from the market. I took profits. Now I don't want to enter the market because we're at like 37,000, so it's the middle of the range. But like I said, I usually put the stop loss around 5 or 10% of the entry price. Do you trade with Binance or have you connected your Binance with software which you trade? No. So I trade with Binance, but during my trade, I will be using TradingView to to see the market and to follow where the market is going. I don't use the Binance chart. ADX, please. Okay, sure, coming. Okay, I will take back I will continue the question. Let me go to the ADX. I'm gonna go take you now to the hard chart of the day. Okay, so again, excuse my chart. It's like messy, super messy. But I don't like to remove anything. Okay, so let me zoom out first. We're on the 4 hour. Let me show you my daily chart first, so you can see it. Super so messed up really. I don't like to change anything. It helps me. This is one thing that I told you guys in Twitter. I was saying like I have a photographic memory, so it's easy for me to see everything clearly. But yeah, so first of all, let me remove the EMAs too. We don't need them. And let me remove the ADX and the squeeze because I don't need them now. Okay, so first of all, this white downward channel, I told you before about it. I also have another arc resistance, by the way. I haven't shown you this in Twitter, but I will show you here. So this is another arc resistance that I have. And this arc resistance, I made it on the daily chart. So you can see peak, 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 peak. Perfect confluence. Like I couldn't have drawn it better than this. Like it was super to the point. So yeah, I have this arc resistance. So I'm expecting if we're gonna keep pumping more, I'm expecting a rejection to happen around this area right here, which is coming around. If you can see the 46. So let's say a couple of days. So let's say 45 to 46K region. So this is why I was telling people like I'm not expecting Bitcoin to go up more than 50K because I have this arc resistance and I really doubt that it's going to break. Like if we pump suddenly today, right? Look, today we reach 50K by 5 June. The lower we go, so if we pump in 10 June, we're at 48. If we pump in 17 June, we're at 44. So you can see that the likelihood of reaching 50,000 is super low based on this arc resistance for me. I'm not saying we're going to even reach it. Why? Because I also have this downward white channel that you can see here, downward parallel channel that has been acting as super huge support and super huge resistance. And you can see the heart line of the channel. You can see right here. Look at that. Heart line, resistance, resistance, support, broke heart line, resistance, support, support, resistance. So it's playing perfectly. It's doing what it has to be doing. It's using the heart line as support sometimes, and it's using the bottom trend as stronger support. And you can see where we wicked out. I mean, we wicked out slightly below, but it's super close nonetheless. And you can see also right here, it was acting as support, support, support. Finally broke down, tested the lower end, resistance, tested again, resistance, support, sorry, then bam, pumped, resistance, got rejected, pumped again, retested, got rejected again, and now we're playing in this range right here. So this middle line right here, this heart line is acting as our short-term support, which is coming in right now at around $33,000. So this is the first thing I want to let you know. Another thing that I want to show you is actually this channel that I had, which was super good actually. If we see it on the 4 hour, you will see how it was acting. So look, again, we entered the channel, tested the heart line of the channel, bam, pumped, resistance, broke down, tested the bottom, pam, pumped again, tested the heart line, pumped again, tested the heart line, tried for a retest, got rejected. Here's what I got that arc resistance for. And this is what I found. This is where I knew that we were gonna pump more when we broke this arc resistance and we confirmed the breakout right here. So I'm like, okay, we escaped this resistance that we had. Actually, I don't want it anymore. It won't. It's not of use now. But yeah, so this channel has been acting as a very good channel for the past couple of days, as you can see here. And as you can see, the more you test resistance currently, the more the likelihood of you or BTC being rejected. Before, when we were at 55 or 65,000 K and we were testing resistance over and over, everyone was saying that, yeah, oh, the more you knock on resistance, the more the chances that you're going to break it. It's true. If you are in a bullish market, yes. But if you are in a bearish market and you're testing resistance constantly, this is not a good sign. So yeah, it was acting very good for me. I was tracking it, especially the heart line. After the second touch right here, because you see we tested once, twice, and 3 times. And it got rejected, and you see also it got rejected in confluence with the support box I had earlier. We went down, and at this retest right here, I actually made a small trade, and I actually sold around here, almost, around 39.7. Because I knew that it's not going to pump again. Why? Because it already tested it once, twice, and 3 times. And it already used the heart line as 1, 2, or 3 times support. So it was over. No more gas anymore. It broke down, tried to get support from the end of or the lower bottom of the channel, but it got rejected. Then it got support on this trend line that I had of this ascending or symmetrical triangle that you can see right here. And when I drew this, I remember telling people that I was going to check out if it plays out. I think I drew it here, I think. Everyone was drawing this, by the way, so just so you know, everyone was drawing this to here. For me, I would rather draw a channel and break from the channel and then draw a trend line to do this huge symmetrical triangle. Why? Call it personal preference. That's just my style of trading. Everyone has a unique style. That's what I'm trying to tell you guys. So anyways, yeah, we broke here and then we made another small, as you can see here, the red triangle. We made another small symmetrical triangle. It looks more like an ascending triangle, but since there's no fixed support, no fixed resistance, so it's a symmetrical triangle. And these triangles are basically continuation patterns. So if you're on a downtrend, they're most likely going to go down. And if you're on an uptrend, they're most likely to go up. Now, the only problem with this is on the high time frames, we are in a bearish downtrend. But on the low time frames, like the 4 hours, or not even the 4 hours, let's say the 1 hour chart, we are in an uptrend. We're not in a downtrend. So it's likely that it will break out, but you can see super clear how it's respecting the lower edge of the channel. It's not magic, it's just TA. Look, one, and I drew, by the way, I drew this channel before this happened, just so everyone knows. I do the blue channel before, and then when we broke it, it started to test it as resistance. And now what's happening is BTC is coiling up in this small triangle like this, coiling up, coiling up, coiling up, coiling up. And this coiling up motion, which is happening in waves, so I'm expecting this and then this till there's a breakout. Now, I'm not expecting this to go on like this forever. No way. But what I am expecting for sure is for this to do something like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. Either 5 and test this. So you can see this support is coming in at 35, right? And then one more time, 38, and then go down. This is the worst case scenario on the short term, that BTC just basically ranges in this symmetrical triangle, breaks down of the triangle, retests the bigger support trend line of the symmetrical triangle, does a retest, a relief rally, and then gets rejected at again at 38, and then finally breaks out and then goes down to like 20,000 or something. Because I really doubt that this will go down again for a retest and then go up for a retest and then go down for a retest till we reach this end. It doesn't usually happen like that. It usually 70% of the pattern usually the pattern usually plays out around 70%, around the 70% mark. So now for this small triangle, since we got rejected now, so now this is the live analysis. So we got rejected right here. I'm expecting a small retest of this, which is coming at 37,200 almost. And pay attention to that. Pay attention to this level right here, to this 37,000 level. If you see 37 being broken, so if you see we are going down like this, take into account or take into consideration that we might be testing 35. Now, it's not a big deal if you're holding alts, because your alts are going to suffer probably like 5 or 6 or 7 or 10% drop. But if you're a trader, I think you can short this for sure. But just remember to wait for confirmation. It could be a fake out and then we just go back inside the triangle. Highly unlikely for me, right? But it's always be better, like always being prepared is better than being sorry. The other scenario is that we go like this again. We retest, like I'm expecting still a retest here. Like there's no way around it. I don't see us going like this. We retest this one more time at 37,000, and then we try to break it, and we do actually break it, right? And then we probably keep breaking it till we reach this area right here, which is 42,000, which is the heart line of the channel again. Of course, we're not gonna reach it like directly like this. So we'll probably do this. If I'm gonna give you my best guess, right? I think I will probably go to like 39, come back to around 38.5, and then go back one more time, get rejected here at 40, go down again to 39.6, break this again, get rejected, go to 42, go down to 40, and then to 45, or to 43,000. So this is like the bullish scenario. And why it's happening like this, it can happen like in a second, right? It can happen in a day, just pump. But usually BTC likes to play in waves. So I think it will go something like that. And why I'm choosing these levels, because they're basically the resistance levels that I have on my chart. The lower resistance level here of my white box, the resistance level of the trend line right here, the upper resistance level right here, and I'm using my small symmetrical triangle as support if we do break out. So this is how you watch the key levels of where Bitcoin might bounce, where it might get rejected. It's all based on your trend lines and where you place them and how the price is acting in these trend lines. Okay? And if I'm gonna make a quick prediction right here, let me just see. Bam, bam, bam. So tomorrow is 3 June, right? And then, like, you see, I'm just gonna show you this, okay? So you see why I'm skeptical we're gonna pump. If we're here, right? Right here, this level right here, if you look at the date, it's 3 June 21. So basically tomorrow, right? Let me just check. Yeah, so it's basically tomorrow, but it's like around 24 hours from here. So it's almost beginning of Saturday, almost beginning of the weekend. And this point right here has 3 confluence points. First one, the bottom of the channel, which is this one right here, resistance. Second one is the downward trend line, the resistance trend line of the huge symmetrical triangle that we have. So now 2 confluence points. Third confluence points that it has, it is also the upper resistance of our current symmetrical triangle. So it has, and it is the $39,000 region, so almost the $40,000 region, which is an important level for us. So as you can see, it's, if we break this, that's why I've been saying to everyone, like, oh, if we break 40,000 by Friday, like, oh, I'm bullish. Even though if we do break it, we might retest. Like, we might go like this and retest here and go to 39 again, or maybe go back slightly to the triangle again to like 37, 38.5. But at least we're still bullish. And even though we break in the weekend, we're not going to dump to 33. It's probably maybe dump to 35 and then gather up bullish momentum again, and then we're okay. But with that said, honestly, this resistance right here is like scaring me, and I really want to break it to feel more relaxed on Friday. And it's coming so close to Friday. I don't think it's coincidence that my trend line and my lower channel and all of this that you see on my chart happens to be exactly on Friday. It just doesn't make, it's not coincidence for me. Now for the ADX and the squeeze, so this is going to get really complicated, but I will try to dissect it slowly and try to help you guys bit by bit understand what it is. Now, this strategy was given by my mentor, and I'm gonna give it to you free of charge. I don't want anything from you. I just hope you learn it, and I hope you master it, because even till now I still haven't mastered it 100%. But I'm gonna just start with the very basic thing. The ADX, which is this white line, is a slope. And if you remember your math, your basic math, slopes either go up or they go down. And slopes are basically inclinations, right? A positive slope means we're going upwards, a negative slope means we're going downwards. Now, this slope right here, if it's curving up, it doesn't mean that we are going up. It just means that it's playing the momentum that the squeeze is showing. It's playing, like, it's sloping upwards based on what the squeeze is doing. So look at the squeeze right now. We can see the squeeze here, right? The squeeze, when it's turning to light green, and you can follow me in the chart up, right? Look, when it turns from dark red here, look, dark red to green, we start our pump. And every time we are green, we are pumping. Now, yeah, we do sometimes drop back, but when we usually drop back is when we start having this change in color. So this changing color to dark green is where we have the dumps usually. But I'm not gonna call them dumps. I'm gonna call them corrections, because when you have green, like you see here, they're not really big dumps. They're just small corrections, 2-3K corrections, and then just again pump upwards again. So this is number one. Light green is usually a good sign of bullish momentum. Dark green is basically just telling you that the buying power is decreasing. The bullish momentum is decreasing, not the buying power. Let's call it the bullish momentum. Now, how do you know how much is decreasing or increasing? You look at the ADX. So you can see here, yeah, we were pumping, but the ADX was also curving down. So there wasn't that huge amount of buying power, and that's why we got rejected at the resistance line. The ADX was curving down, the squeeze was turning light green, and then we didn't have this huge buying power because the slope was downwards. And then we started to correct. We reached this point right here. Now, right here, at this point right here, general assumption is squeeze is going to turn red. But that's why I tell you, you have to look at other indicators, including EMA, RSIs, MACDs, stock RSIs, volumes, everything you have in your arsenal to see what might happen on the squeeze. Now, with that said, the squeeze started to curve upwards here, even though we were in the dark green. Look, dark green, dark green, dark green, slope down, slope down, slope down, dark green, slope starts to curve upwards. And this curve upwards in the squeeze indicates that the slope is turning upwards. And this indication means that the buying pressure is increasing. So what we're having right now, or what we had from like 2 or 3 hours ago, is, and when I posted the tweet, I think I posted the tweet, we were around like 36.5 or 37, and we reached around 38,200. And that's why I said a small pump is coming. Why? Because the squeeze is turning up and it's light green. Now, the squeeze can keep doing this. It can keep turning light green, and if it keeps turning light green and it doesn't switch to dark green, this is huge news. I will show you why this is huge news. Let me go back in time. That's why I say always, always, always go back in time. If you're new to crypto, you're new to trading, always, always turn left. Look left. Okay, I'm going to show you this. Look at this. Look at where the squeeze was light green and look at the slope of the squeeze. Okay? Look, we were dark green, so bullish momentum was decreasing. Squeeze was going down, so also decreasing. So there wasn't that big of a drop, right? When ADX is going down and you're going from light green to light red, it means that we are correcting, but not a huge correction. As you can see, it wasn't huge, just on the 4 hour. We're talking about the 4 hour, like in a day or two only. Then we turn green, right? Now we turn green, we turn light red. But how could I know, or how did I know that this wasn't a huge dump? Well, basically because the ADX was still sloping downwards and it's still below the zero line. As long as the slope of the ADX is downward, it means that the selling pressure is low. So I was confident that this was a small correction. After that, squeeze started to turn dark green, dark red, as you can see right here, and the ADX started to curve upwards. So what does this indicate? This right here is super bullish. Why is it super bullish? I'm talking again. I'm talking on 4 hour time frame. I'm not talking on the daily. The daily, it's another story. But if you're trading on the 4 hour, this is like a huge sign for you. Why? Because the squeeze indicator is starting to turn potentially light green, which it did, and the slope of the ADX is sloping upwards, which means there's a huge buying pressure that's coming. Huge buying pressure coming to the market. If you bought right here at the curve, or if you entered your trade right here, look at what happens after. 6% pump on BTC, up to 10% pump almost. Even more if you're gonna take it, if you're willing to trade it up till here. So 10% times 10x leverage, that is 100% gain from here, from just buying right here. And if I'm usually trading, I usually buy right here at this exact area with this exact indicator doing this exact movement. So if you see this on this chart and then we go back to where we are now, you can see we're in a similar position. So squeeze is turning light green again. Slope is sloping upwards, but the only difference, let me see if it's If we can see it. Mm, no, it's the same thing. Yeah. So yeah, the only difference is that now we're retracing to test the support again, and we're still relatively high compared to where we were 2 hours ago. So we were at 36.4 or maybe 36.5, and now we're at 37.7, which is still super good. It's the beginning still. So you can expect this to go way up. So you can expect this to retrace to 37 and then bam, super pump. Can happen, 6-7%. The only thing I'm worried about is if I see this starting to turn dark green. Why? Because look at what happens. When it, sorry, yeah, turning dark green. I will explain to you why. Look at what happens. Perfect example. Look, slope was curving upwards. You see, right here, right there. Slope was curving upwards. Squeeze was turning dark green. Potential red coming. Now this is a combination of disaster. Why? Because the squeeze is turning is turning light red, which means selling pressure is coming to the market, which is bad, right? But to top it off, we have an ADX with an upward slope, which means that the move is going to be strong. It's not going to be a small correction. It's going to be a strong correction. And this is exactly what happened. Look at this. Dark green, squeeze on dark green, about to turn light red. ADX started to slope upwards. Bam. Look at that. 4.4% drop. Small rally, which is nothing, which will be expected. And look at this. Look what happens after. Look at the slope of the. Let me make it bigger so you can see. Oh my god, so big. But yeah, you can see the slope of the ADX. And if you guys remember, this is where I started tweeting in my channel. This is where I was saying if my ADX turns red, dark red, and I still see consolidation, another dump is going to come. Definitely. So look what happened here when the slope of the ADX was upward and it was light red on the squeeze. We had a dump of 1, 2, 3, 4, around 5, 13. 13% dump, give or take 2 to 3%. So we had an 18% dump on BTC. 18% dump on BTC is huge. Your alts will get destroyed. They will go down 30%. And what happened next is, we turned, so I will try to move this downward so you can see. So look, right here I was tweeting. I was saying, listen guys, yeah, this looks like a relief rally and we were around like the 50K area. This is like what made me famous in Twitter. I was saying like, oh yeah, look, we were in a relief rally, blah blah blah. But I was saying like, yeah, the squeeze is turning dark green, but ADX is still not turning. The ADX is still sloping upwards, so I still expect downward momentum to be playing out. And then here, right there, ADX did turn, but what happened is that the ADX turned to the slopewards, slope downwards, sorry, but we still had consolidation upwards. So look, consolidation, even though it was like a 2% drop here, which is not that much, but for me, it's just consolidation, 2%. Right there, I knew like, another dump is coming for sure. What happened after? Light green again, slope turned upwards again, selling pressure. We kept dumping till we reached this area right here. Now, when we reached, so look, we bottomed out here at 30,000. Now, I couldn't have, I did call the 30,000 bottom because of fib. So this is why I tell you always you have to use different indicators and charts and analysis to know where we're going. Now, I did call the $30,000 drop, but I couldn't have predicted it only using the squeeze. Because look here on the squeeze, if you were here, you're thinking, okay, we're gonna drop more than 30. Actually, no. It just means we're gonna drop, and we did drop, but not more than 30. So look, squeeze, 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 kept being dark red here, still upward slope, still nothing. Bam. Right here, I start to feel more bullish on BTC. No more dump more than 30. Corrections, yes, but no more dump than 30. So here we had small consolidation, and right here is what I'm scared of that's gonna happen this week. I'm scared the ADX or the squeeze basically is gonna turn to zero, and we're still consolidating because this this right here is called consolidation. This is not called bullish momentum. You can call it no more downward action, no more dumps, yeah, sure, but you cannot say this is a bullish momentum. But it's consolidation. So if I'm consolidating here and I'm still looking at this like this, and my squeeze is about to turn green and I'm still consolidating, and there's the slope of the ADX is downwards, this is not good for Bitcoin. This means that another dump is coming, and you can see what happened in the charts. We turned green, but another dump came. Now, why? Why is the squeeze like this? Like this? It's just the rules and the experience that I've come to learn about the squeeze and the ADX. So it's hard to master for sure. It's not gonna be easy, but with practice, it will be easier for sure. Definitely, definitely. Now, if we go back to where we are now, you can see there's a huge difference. Look at how far we were from the 0 point line on the ADX. We were way up. Here, I'm gonna split them up so you can see them separately. So we were way up right here, way, way up. So there was huge selling pressure. That's why we had this huge dump. Then when this one started to go downward, it means the selling pressure started to go downward. But this didn't negate that we had more dump coming, more corrections if you want, because uh, a downward move to 32,000 is not a dump, technically, just basically. But you can see after this, as we started to reach the 0 point or the 23 point right here on the squeeze on the ADX, sorry, you can see that once we started turning from light to dark, we started to turn to dark, we started to pump again. Why? Because we're closer to that 0.23 or to that 23, to that mid-level line right there. The closer you are to that, the less chance you have the less risk you have of dumping, but also you have the less risk of pumping. So it's more of a consolidation with slight upward movements or slight downward movements up to your other indicators or your other analysis that you have. But being on this line is good. Now, right now, we're curving up. It's scary. For me, it is, especially with all the scenarios that we're seeing. Technically speaking, this upward movement is going. This upward movement on the ADX with a green uh, squeeze indicator showing a green valley, if you want to call it a valley or a mountain, is very good sign because it means like a pump is coming. But the problem is, right now, Bitcoin is consolidating, whether you want to admit it or not. If you're moving from 32 to 36 to 37, this is a consolidation range. Everything right here, or let's say this, everything right here is a consolidation in this box right here. This is consolidation. This is not pump, this is not dump, it's consolidation. So now my main problem is I have a squeeze indicator showing light green. I have a slope turning upwards, so there's pressure coming. Whether it be selling or buying, it's yet to be confirmed because we're still seeing consolidation. but there's pressure coming to the market for sure. Now, if this ADX starts to cross the 0.23 line, and then this squeeze starts to turn dark green and curve downward, then this is bad news. This is like a get out of the market sign. This is a dump. A dump, and I call it a dump. Why? Because even though it happened here, you can see here it happened. We were green, 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 started to turn dark green, started to curve upwards, but turn light red, and look, we had this dump from around 40,000 to around 33,000. So $7,000 dump, which is a strong dump, right? The only reason I'm scared more of this than that is because we were at 40 here and we dumped to 33. So we still did a higher low. Now, on the other hand, we are at 37 and we are in the middle of this range and we are in the middle of this pattern, at the end of this pattern, sorry, and the end of this pattern also. So now, like I told you guys, when you take into consideration all of your analysis, all of your indicators, you come up with a basic conclusion. For me, my conclusion is we are at the end of this we are at the apex, almost at the apex of this symmetrical triangle. A, that's number one. Number two, we are at the apex of this small symmetrical triangle, red one, B. Number three, we are getting rejected from the lower trend line of this channel. Number four, our ADX is sloping upward. Yes, we have green valley on the squeeze, but if in the upcoming 4 hours, 6 hours, 7 hours, this ADX starts to turn dark green, we're going to start having problems for sure. And I tell you this because it might turn green, so you might see this one curving up like this and this one curving down like this, right? And becoming dark green. And on the chart, you might see a small relief rally, a fake out. And then you're going to get caught in the fake out and destroyed. Why? Because this one will turn to the zero mark and this one will turn upward more like this, and then dump comes, and then we're done. It's over. And this dump is gonna, if it took us from 40 to 33, it could take us from 37, 38 back down to 30 again. And like I told you, if we go back to 30 again, for me, this is a lower low, so it's not good. For me, it's like, I think if this happens, we will see 25,000 sooner than people expect. Uh, definitely, definitely. Let me go to the chat to see what's up. I will explain the squeeze more in detail for sure in later videos. Like I told you, it's not easy to master, but it takes time. Let's see. Take your questions. Let's see who has questions. I think many get confused on how to set the stop loss, the whole idea of setting a stop loss and the stop limit trigger, etc. Okay, so for this, okay, so the trigger is the price where it triggers, right? So let's say you want to start, you want to set your stop loss at like 0.20, and then you want to, yeah, your stop loss is 0.2, and you want your trigger to be at 0.25. Your trigger has to be close to your stop loss, because if it's far, then you're gonna lose more money. Now, with that said, don't put it too close, because sometimes when you put your, let's say your stop loss is 0.2 and your trigger is 0.21. By the time the market price jumps from 21 to 2, the price will have dropped below your stop loss, and then you will not be able to catch your order. And then what happens after is the price drops to like 0.16, bounces up to 0.2, your stop loss gets hit, you sell at 0.2, and the price goes up more, and then you're basically screwed. So always put your trigger a little bit more than your stop loss. What is your opinion on current altcoin situations? Do you think that they will be moving in similar manner as Bitcoin? Yes, definitely. If Bitcoin stabilizes, you can see like Bitcoin has been stable. It hasn't been pumping. It has been consolidating, but it's been above the 4-hour EMA ribbon for a few days now, right? And you see the alts how they're performing. They're going up. Like I remember I bought cake and I bought sushi swap at around 10 and 15, I think. And I think cake is 20 today and sushi swap is around 12.5. So I made a decent like 20% gain on each. Upwards bullish momentum, very good point with the selling pressure. Thanks. It's also what I'm liking with the BTC behavior. Like, okay. Um, let's see who has other questions. Great point with Chili's. Yeah, Chili's is the for me it's the future, honestly. Chili's and VeChain, they're like the future of everything. Of like it's a good token. It's a good token. Oh, Ryan is he's my cousin. He came to support me also. I used to stop loss before many years ago. There was a flash crash in less than 1 second, and then the rebounded. That made me lose some money. It activated at much lower, so I'm afraid to use it. Yeah, that's one risk of a stop loss. That's why you have to put your if you're playing with alts and not trading, right? You need to put your stop loss up to like 20%. 20% stop loss is more than enough, I think. 20 to 15%. Because usually BTC drops when it drops like 15%. Average drops. And if you drop by 15%, your alts will drop by 30. So if you put your stop loss at 20% minimum, you will be able to capitalize on 10% more if the drop is only till 30%. If you get my meaning, like Bitcoin drops 15, you get stopped out at 20 rather than at 30%, and now you have an extra 10% to cash in if you buy again the dip. Can't wait for World Cup 2020. Oh, yeah, me too. I hope this COVID thing is over. Please save this. I gotta put my daughter to bed, and I've learned so much already. I will try. I have no idea how to do it. Like, if you can tell me how. Thank you for your dedication and information. Thank you for your support and your willingness to learn. That's for sure. Love your analysis. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. Um, I'm not selling. Some of those projects are decent, so yeah, but I'm taking small amounts from the Saturday and trade. Yeah, sure, sure. What he's saying is correct. Like, if you're holding on something, a good project, no need to sell if you're willing to forget the money. You are the first day that I can understand and don't feel compelled to buy anything. Thank you. Yeah, I'm just here to teach you guys. That's it. What do you think of Coinbase? I don't like Coinbase. I don't like Coinbase at all. I think I've never used their platform. Maybe they're a decent, uh, they have a decent platform, but I don't think they're a good company in a sense of morality. I don't think they have morals because once the Coinbase IPO I think when they listed the Coinbase IPO, they had a dump after, or they sold their shares or something, and then the market crashed after. I think that happened at the 65K top two, 14 April, if I'm correct. Coinbase got listed, shareholders sold their stocks, Bitcoin dropped 65 to 47, I think. Oh my god, I missed the. Oh my god, where am I now? Uh, how to set up horizontal buy zones and sell zones. I think you can rewatch the video, go back. I already talked about this. Matic is super good. I really liked Matic. The only problem with Matic is like it's gone up like 10x in 2 months. So I'd rather not buy it now. I used to see Matic at like 0.2 or 20 cents maybe, and I missed the chance to buy it because um like I said, I want tokens that have utility, that have a secure future 100%. And the tokens that I'm like, VeChain has no competition, and Chili's has definitely no competition. Whereas Matic and Cake and Bake and Sushi Swap and Solana and all of these other coins, they all have competition. How does one deal with a crypto pumping the moment we sell? Um, Okay, this is a good question. Form a strategy. Form a strategy where you decide how much profit is good profit. And if it pumps more, don't be sad and don't be greedy. Just follow your strategy. So, actually, my cousin who's here, I think in the chat today, we were talking earlier about when to sell, and I told him to wait till like we reach 38. We'll probably reach 38.5, but he said no. I will sell at 37. He has a strategy he wants to follow, and I admire him for that. He stuck to the strategy. He sold I think he sold cake at like 18 point something, and even though cake went to 20, he followed his strategy and he's happy with his profits. So that's how you can deal with it. Follow a strategy. How do you know which high to use when setting fib retracement? So it's basically you can use any high you want, but usually use them on the time frames, on the time frame you're looking at. So if you're looking at the 4-hour time frame, I'd rather use the most recent high than the previous high. Like for example, I will just show you here since you're talking about fib retracement. So I'm gonna go to the daily. So here's the daily right here, right? So you can see that my highest high was at 65K, right? But actually, and then I have a low at 30, right? But actually, I have a low at, my lowest low is around the March crash, right? Yeah, the March crash. So if you're looking at high time frames, at huge time frames, this is your fib retracement from the highest high to the lowest high over a huge period of time, which is the daily. And then you can get your fib ratios right here. So 0.5, 0.382, 0.236, so on and so forth. And this is where many people are getting the 25K region from, because it's matching with this fib retracement. Now, another thing you can do for fib, fib is when you're using fib, you don't really need to use a specific strategy, like use specific highs and specific lows. You can use any high and any low you want, and you can see points of confluence also. So for example, the high that I have is 65 and my drop is 30. So you can see here, if I'm assuming that my absolute bottom is 30, then you can see where my fib retracements are at. So we're basically here. But for me, if I'm going to use this type of fib, where I'm using the 30K as the bottom, I'd rather use the recent high rather than the highest high. Why the recent? Because it's the most recent price action. So I'll probably go from here to here. And you can see when you do this, let me make it super perfect like that. And look, when you do this, look what you get. Perfect retracements. And you can see the price playing on perfect retracements. 6.18, the golden ratio, broke down, tested the 0.236, bumped up, wicked down to the end here at 30K, went up, and now we're playing in this area right here between 36, the 0.236 and the 0.382. So if we do break this and we retest it and we confirm it as support, we are bound to test the 0.382 again. If we don't hold this as support, we're going to go down. Now, this is one example of fib where you can use this fib, or you can even go to the shorter time frames. Like for example, I go to the 4-hour. Let me remove the squeeze and the ADX because now there's no need for them. So I go to the 4-hour, let's say, and I'm gonna do my fib retracement. I'm gonna do this, and look. So now, first of all, you need to know where your move is starting from. So this is the super last wave that we have. So my first move is basically starting here. So this is my current high if you want. Okay? If you want to talk about 4 hour time frame. You take the fib retracement at around 42,000. You drop it to the lowest, which is around 30,000, right there. And now you have your retracement levels on the 4 hour. So these retracement levels are basically what's going to happen on the upcoming days, you see? The bigger time frames you use fib. So for example, if you're going to the daily and you're using the 65K top as the highest and the 3K top as the lowest, then you're looking at huge time frames. You're not looking at what's at the retracement on the short time frames. You're looking at retracement over the next couple of weeks or month. But if you do the 4 hour and you choose a local top like this, then look like honestly, it's not magic. Look at this, perfectly at the 0.236. Now it did wick downward for sure, but it's a wick. But the body closed over the 0.236. So, and you can see here how we're testing the fib ratios accordingly. And now we are here at the golden ratio, 0.618. And again, the 0.786 is going to be around 39,000. And if you put the other fibs, so on the daily time frame and on the weekly time frame, or on the 4 hour, 6 hour, 8 hour, and you use local tops and local bottoms, you will come to basically same results using fib, give or take a few thousand. But at least you will have an idea where this range of confluence is. So now my range of confluence is between 39 and 42. I need a break above this box right here, 39 to 42. So this is how you use the fib ratios. There's no specific uh, way to use them. Other people use pitchforks, which are also, they're advanced. Like, I'm not gonna talk about them now. I use them from time to time, but you see, you just put them and you have a channel where you have a retracements. I think there was a someone on, I forgot. There was an account of Twitter of a girl who uses a pitchfork a lot to predict the BTC price. So you can also use it. You can use now I'm trying to play around with fib circles, which are very nice. They're very hard, definitely very hard. But basically they have no rule to follow. It's not like the fib retracement where you put high to low. It's just basically where you find places of confluence using certain lows and certain highs. I'm still learning to use it. It's very advanced. And there's a lot of other stuff. There's the fib resistance fan, and you can see also. But everyone who uses this or uses these fib retracements always uses them with the main retracement, with the main fib retracement. Because the main fib retracement is the easiest one, it's the most accurate one. So I hope that answered your question. Um, let's see. Um, is it too early and too small to call an upward channel on the 4 hour from 29 May? Um, I didn't call it an upward channel. You can see I put it as a symmetrical triangle. So it's not too early to call, but I'd rather call it as a symmetrical triangle till proven otherwise, till I see another low which fits a parallel channel. Maze, I have to say this was great for first stream. Very impressive. You can present fluently. I would not have to be able to. Thank you so much. Hope to see you again soon. That's good. Liquidation. I can only imagine how that feels. Guess it feels almost as bad as being scammed. Yeah, liquidation sucks. Liquidation is like the worst feeling ever. The worst feeling ever is when you wake up and you see a notification on your phone that you're, oh, please put more funds or please put more margin. You're about to get liquidated because you know that you already did. It just happened. I got liquidated by Vitalik Shiba donation, so yeah. Yeah. That's what you get for playing with Shiba coins and Dogecoin. Those things are dangerous. Telegram, hopefully soon. Like I told you guys, I'm super busy. I'm trying my best to speed this up for everyone. BTC Miami event this weekend. Does BTC usually pump during this event? I won't be surprised if it did, but I don't expect it will. If that makes sense. I'm waiting on Friday. Thank you, Mace, for doing this. You're very welcome. How do you overlay the two indicators? You just click on one of them and you drag them to the other one, and then you overlay them. They become overlapped. From the past, I've seen go great so far. Benjamin Ray, I know this guy. I know you. You're from the. I see you on the Twitter, active all the time. Thank you for the support, man. Let's see if any more questions. Yeah, the squeeze and the ADX, if you master them, like I still haven't taught you anything about them, but if you, because I use them in different time frames. So usually the squeeze and the ADX, they work better on higher time frames than lower time frames. But if you manage to find patterns on lower time frames and then you can correlate them to higher time frames, then you can make a better picture of where we're going. Like I told you before, let me just show you the example. We're here. We might as well learn, even though it's gonna get hard. But I think practice will make perfect for everyone. Okay, so look. First, I will go to my 1 hour time frame. I don't go to 30 minutes. I go to hour. Okay, look at here. So here, my squeeze curving upward. Squeeze and ADX together, curving upward, light green, about to curve downward, both of them. So I'm gonna expect a retrace on the 1 hour, which is this red valley or red mountain that you see right here. Very basic, very simple. Same as what happened here. Not to say we cannot pump a little bit more, like what happened here, but usually we're ending, we're reaching our end of the bullish momentum on the 1 hour. Now I go to the 4 hour, which is my next time frame to use. And you can see here also the squeeze curving upward, light green. Most probably might go a little bit more light green, which will indicate more upward side, or maybe down. So I have to wait. I cannot expect this, but I will wait till the 4 hour. If it's still green, I will expect more upwards momentum for the upcoming 4 to 6 to 8 to 10 hours. Slow upward momentum is not that strong unless I see this ADX moving above the middle line here, the middle line right here. Okay. Now I go to the daily, or to the 6 hour if you want. On the 6 hour, you can see my squeeze is already making this valley. So it's probably going to go a little bit more and then curve downwards, same as what they did here. And look at what happened after here. We had this dump. So it's not a huge dump, but it's just a medium correction if you want. And then I will go to, let's say, my 8 hour. Now here's where it gets interesting with the squeeze. On the 8 hour, it is curving downwards. Squeeze is green. Squeeze is dark red, and ADX is turning sloping downwards, while the squeeze is about to turn light green. So this basically indicates that we're gonna have upward momentum on the 8 hours. Now, when we're talking about 8 hours, we're talking about 2 to 3 days to come. Okay. Now I go to my 12 hour. 12 hour is about to turn dark red, and the slope is turning downwards. Now, this doesn't mean that we're going to experience a dump, but this does mean that over the next week, probably, we will have another correction. And the more you, same as this, same as this. So let me show you right here. Same as here. So we were here, dark green, dark green, dark green, and then bam, look. But here, the difference between here and here is that here the ADX was sloping upwards. So our correction was severe over a week or 10 days. Whereas here, my slope is still down. Now, if this starts to do this, that's where I run for the hills. That's where it's game over for me. I take my partial profits, mostly around 80%, wait for the dump to bottom out, rebuy again at the low, sell at the high, and make profits again. But now it doesn't show this. Now it's curving down. So just correction, consolidation, if you want to call it. Not that severe. And we're talking about the next week, let's say, or next couple of 5 days or so. The higher the time frame, the more that you have to take into consideration that it's going to take longer to play out. And now finally to the most important one, which is for me is the king of the kings. Is like the best thing to watch using the squeeze and the ADX. And I'm going to show you how super good it works. Look at this. Look at the ADX and the squeeze. Bottom of the dump. Almost bottom of the dump. Almost bottom of the dump. Almost bottom of the dump, or exactly actually. And here, bottom of the dump. So like I said, the squeeze will not predict exactly the bottom, but it will get you close enough as long as you know how to read it properly. And you can see that here when we turned our green, right, and we start to curve to the dark red, we start to have correction. Now this correction is not severe, it's just a normal correction on the daily. It's just a 20% correction, 20%, 20%, 30%. But this on the daily, when you see dark red on the squeeze, the correction is going to be more than 10% for sure. Definitely. Like, unless it's even bigger. The past 1, 2, 3, 4 corrections that we had, the ADX was sloping downwards, sloping downwards, sloping downwards. And when it started to slope upwards slightly is when we started to have the bigger corrections. So if you want to see, I will show you. So look, this correction was around 29% in Jan. This correction was around 25% in Feb. This correction was around 18%. So all of these corrections, which were between 25 and 18%, the squeeze and the ADX were the squeeze was doing the red valley or the red mountain, if you want to call it, and the ADX was sloping downwards. All of them. Once the ADX started to slope slightly upwards, which was in April, look at the correction that we got. 30 plus correct, 30 correction, 30% correction. This is the first correction. And then second time the ADX started to turn red again on the daily, right, which is here, right here. We had the huge correction because squeeze was turning red and ADX was sloping upwards, and we got a correction of around, I think it's like 50, no? Yeah, like 50% correction. Why? Just because of the ADX was sloping upwards here. Every other correction, the ADX was sloping downwards, downwards, and downwards, except this one in April, which is sloped slightly upwards only, and then it curved back again. So on the daily, if we go to the daily time frame, you can see that my ADX is actually curving downwards, which is perfect. And my squeeze is about to turn green, which is also perfect. The only issue is if my squeeze monitor turns to 0, so about to turn green, and my ADX is about to curve, okay, but still hasn't curved much. Like let's say it's doing something like this, let's say, and this one, the squeeze was almost here. This is not a good sign, because you're gonna see up on the movement of BTC, you're gonna see consolidation when this is happening on the squeeze. And when consolidation happens and you see this on the squeeze, it means that there's a potential dump coming. And what you're gonna probably see is something like this, and then bam, and then this one will do another red one and we dump again. I'm hoping it doesn't play out. I'm hoping when this curves to zero and this curves downward like this, we start to see green valleys again. So we can see at least a few weeks of upward movement for BTC to reach the 45K level. I'm hoping this, but up till now, I cannot be sure. I need more information from different momentum indicators. I like to use a lot of momentum indicators, by the way. And this is how you put a strategy for like the squeeze using different time frames. It will let you know what's gonna happen day by day, hour by hour, if you're good at reading it. Why does my squeeze not change color until the 0 point is hit, whereas your changes just before it hits zero? Maybe you're using a different canvas of squeeze indicator. I'm not sure. I will show you at the end of the stream what I use. Just wanted to say, amazing session you've got going on here. Highly appreciate it. I wish you and your missus an excellent holiday as well. Thank you so much, my friend. I appreciate it. Are these available on Binance? No. Squeeze and ADX are not available on Binance. You need to go to TradingView, and I think you need to buy the Pro version. I'm not very sure. You can try to do it without Pro version, but if not, then you need the Pro version, definitely. You can use TradingView. It's free and it works great. Yes, definitely. TradingView is amazing. I've watched hundreds of hours of videos on trading, but this is going to be the best stream ever. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. How do you overlay the squeeze in DMI? I answered this already. You can go backwards on the stream and look it up. Thanks. I'm trading in TradingView, but still don't see ADX and squeeze tools. Maybe I think you have to buy the Pro version for them to show up. Bollinger Bands, if you have time, please. I don't know how long has this session been going on for. Can I check? I don't know. I will check. Um, Let me see. Yeah, so I think I'm gonna head out soon because my missus is going to kill me. I'll probably answer some few questions and then probably end the stream. And yeah, but for my BTC price prediction, like I'm gonna keep you guys updated on Twitter, and I still think everything I said is playing out till proven otherwise. Um, what else before I go? Uh, I think it's also at the end of it. I hope it auto saves. I have no idea if it does or doesn't. Mm, which indicator? What version am I using? Um, this one right here, Lazy Bear version. Um, what about the ADX? The ADX, this one right here, console, directional movement index, 3,547. Mm, great job, Maze. Good question. How about EWT, Elliott wave theory? I've seen from Julian Timen from Fidelity, and apparently we're expecting one more leg down wave. What's your opinion on Elliott wave? Okay, so I'm gonna show you guys this. So I know I've seen many channels talking about this. Like I saw CoinSkid talking about Elliott waves. I saw what's his name? Fibonacci Lee talking about Elliott waves as well. But honestly, without bragging too much, I think I'm the first one who put this out there before anyone else because I just saw people doing Elliott wave recently, and this was my kind of prediction for Elliott waves, which was before the drop. And as you can see here, I use fib ratios and fib retracement to find out where the waves will head towards what area. So for me, right, I thought basically we're in our run up from like $3,000 to $65,000 was a wave one of Elliott wave, and then our correction or the correction that we're having right now is wave two. which makes sense. And now obviously everyone's saying the same thing. So with that said, the only issue with Elliott wave is the second wave cannot go down more than, let's say, 30,000. Cannot go down more than 0.382. Like it can go up to 60% retracement. So if you were in 65, it can go to up to 65% retracement. So basically, or 60, I would say 60. So basically, we can go 60% from 65, a 60% drop rather than a 50% drop. So this means that we can go down 10 more percent. Now, 10% more from 30,000 is going to be around the 25, right? 25 level, 25, 26 level. So this is why everyone's saying that we're gonna go to 25 and then pump up and go to 100,000. For me, like you see, my target is like a maximum of 120, like between 80 and 120. And I had this theory from way back, and because I believe in Elliott waves a lot, but I still haven't modified it yet because I don't have time to. But basically, what people are saying is correct. Like we can still dump 10 to 15 more percent for sure, definitely, and we will still be in Elliott wave number two. Um, if we're assuming law, can I hear your math brain talking? I don't know what you mean by math brain talking about what. I panic sold having lost 50% of my portfolio. Would you suggest riding the wave to recoup, trying to buy low and sell high, hodl or sit out until the bottom comes in a couple of months? Uh, these are very hard questions to answer because when I exited the market at 65,000, I did this exactly not to be in your spot right now. Because I was thinking if I reached your spot, I have no idea what to do. I'm like, so if the market drops 50% and I'm stuck in, what am I going to do? Am I going to wait for a dump till 20,000 and just hodl? Now, if you can hodl for long term, I advise just hodl. If you can wait a few years, just wait a few years. Turn off your exchange and delete your app for a few years and come back later and check it out. What do you think about Python token? There's also PancakeSwap only now shared in many groups as a token with a future. It's a good price right now for purchase. Can you examine the charts on the PooCoin? No, I will not examine the charts on PooCoin. And I've never heard of Python token, but PancakeSwap is definitely one of the top five tokens that I think have a future for sure. Bollinger Bands, I will leave Bollinger Bands for later because they need a little bit more explanation. And I have to go. I don't have time enough now. Um, appreciate the question. Which version of FTX? Okay, so I told you I'm using the Lazy Bear version of the Squeeze and the console version of the ADX. If you cannot find the Squeeze, I think you have to pay for TradingView Pro. If you cannot find it. I, I will try to upload videos, informational videos, and I will try to keep live streams for just analysis. I think that would be best. Yeah, hopefully this yeah, I hope the stream auto saves also. Top three altcoins long term. Honestly, all of them are the top 10 altcoins are amazing. Like I cannot choose top three, but if I had to choose my top six, I could give you my top six. My top six would be VChain, CHZ, BNB, CHZ, VChain, BNB, ADA, XRP, and PancakeSwap. That's the top six for me. Very long, very useful minutes. I'm sorry the stream took so long. it, time flew. If you have any recommendations for next stream or whatever, you can always post on Twitter. I'll do a poll and you guys can tell me what you like, what you dislike, and what you want to like. If we want to add something, we can do it. With so many creatures before the dump, how did so many people remain so bullish just from the little you have taught my ass? Tamara, I like I'm in the same boat as you. Tamara is saying, with so many clear signals before the dump, how did so many people remain so bullish? Just from the little you have taught, my eyes will be wide open in the future. I'm also surprised why people didn't listen. I messaged many people, many big celebs on YouTube, but no one listened. Like, I could show you right here. It's not even hard. Like, basic TA. Now, this is my long-term prediction on BTC. I'm going to do a deep video about this. But this is why I think BTC is going into a bear market and there's no pump coming anymore. So on the weekly chart, we're talking weekly, right? On the weekly chart, ADX, which you also can use, is turning red and it still didn't do a valley. And usually what the ADX needs to do, it needs to do some kind of red valley like this. So I'm expecting more downturn. I'm not expecting any huge pumps anymore on the weekly. We're talking about the weekly, which basically means upcoming months. And you can see right here, perfect example, right there. We are somewhere in between here. And you can see the price action, what happened. You see? We had the March dump. So this is the weekly. And if you go to the monthly, which is the scariest one for me, but the monthly, I need to check it on another chart. Let me check it on this chart. I'm going to show you the ADX on the monthly and the RSI on the monthly. This is one of the signs that showed me that we were dumping hard and no one took it into consideration for unknown reasons. So this is, let's see, is it the daily? No, this is the 4-hour, but it's the RSI, which is great. I'm going to go to the weekly and to the monthly. Perfect. Monthly RSI, BTC chart, and there we go. This is the biggest divergence you are ever going to see in your life. Like, I cannot even show this to people because they're gonna start freaking out. But this is the 2013 bull run right here. Gonna zoom out a little bit. And if you draw from the high of the 2013 bull run to this high, and then you draw the RSI from this high to this high, this is a bearish divergence on the monthly chart. Now, is it severe? Okay, let's check history. Quick. I will explain this later. Look at this. 2013, 2017. 2013, 2017. This is called an exaggerated divergence. It means it's not going to be as strong. Even though it wasn't as strong, look what happened after. We had a bearish almost 4-year bearish market. This is on the monthly. The most interesting part about all of this, and I'm going to do a detailed video about this later for sure, is the weekly. Or no, let's do the daily because the daily is more clear. Look at this. Daily divergence. I mean, if you're stupid, excuse my language, but if you're stupid, you will not be able to notice this. If you're a trader, this is why I got so angry at people like the Banter Group and people like BitBoy and Satoshi Stacker. They're supposed to be professional. Like Sheldon the sniper is supposed to be the sniper. He's like the guy who sees everything. Nothing misses him. This is like a huge bearish divergence on the daily chart. And this is where the dump happened. If you want to play it like this, you can, but I would play it like this better at the 65K region. You see? High, higher high, higher high, higher high, higher high. But on the RSI, you're making lower highs. So just basically just means that there's a low buying pressure. bullish momentum is decreasing. Simple. And another thing, which is basic stuff, we're talking about new BTA if you want. It's the MACD. So, like people underestimate the MACD, but I love using it because it's like a simple indicator. And I'm not gonna look at the daily chart because now at the daily is turning bullish, but I'm gonna look at the weekly chart. And this is what I found in my tweet in like my analysis, and this is what I tweeted to Ran, to the banter group. Look at this. This is the 2017 bull run. 2018 bearish cross on the weekly. Okay, and the top was here, right there. So after we hit the top, a few weeks later we had a bearish cross on the weekly. Bam, super dump, bear market. Tried to recover here, dumped again. Now look here, top at 65K. A few weeks later, bearish cross. But this time the dump was super severe compared to 2017. Like this dump has never happened before in the history of Bitcoin. The percentage has, but the power of the dump and the severity of the dump has never happened ever. Ever, ever. And this is what is concerning for me. And this indicator was the one showing me that the dump was coming and no one was listening, and finally everyone's losing 50% of their money and they don't know what to do, which could have been avoided if everyone just said, oh listen, there's a bearish divergence on the RSI, that could be very bad. That's it. when we when could we expect a dump to 25K? I would give it probably by end of June. If we're going to see 25K, I think by end of June. But I will always keep you posted for sure. Please make sure to mention that this is not financial. Oh, yeah, definitely. This is not, this is not financial advice. This is my own opinion. Definitely, definitely. Not financial advice. Thank you for reminding me. Please, thank you. May start Telegram soon. I hope so. Hey, just before you go, want to say thank you for inspiring me to learn TA. Been part of a week. Much prefer trading to just holding. I'm very happy to hear that, Jack. I hope you are learning as much as you can. Okay, guys. So I think this is it for today. So you expect no more all-time high for BTC this year? I expect we can reach an all-time high, but I will have to wait and see. I will have to wait and see. I'm gonna make a deep analysis about this for sure later. So, anyways, guys, thank you for watching the stream. I hope you enjoyed it. I will always keep you posted on Twitter. I hope the stream auto saves. If it doesn't, I will try to do a normal video. I would really appreciate the any type of suggestions for future videos. And yeah, I will see you again next time. Thank you so much, and have a great, great night.